Just getting February PPI data coming through here at 8:30. Looks like in line for the most part with expectations. Core comes out 0.3 to the upside for February. The consensus 0.2 for that reading, 0.6 for the month-over-month reading versus a 0.3 consensus and forecast. So definitely a miss on the month-over-month. Core down here, 2%, exactly in line with expectations. That was the one I was looking at year-over-year for February. PPI year-over-year for February, 1.6 versus 0.9 print there. So that's definitely higher than expected across the board. Retail sales year-over-year just coming through higher as well, 1.5% versus a 1% expectations. We also got jobless claims data, also the wrong direction, 1.8 million on the continuing claims versus 1.9 million expected there, 209,000 on the week-over-week number versus 219. So across the board, ton of strength. Bottom line, still in the overall economy, that's not going to be good for futures. Yeah, downside we go. We're still positive on the day for the overall market. That's WW after that huge move yesterday. But futures on my other screen here, downside we go. Both still positive, though, for the NASDAQ and the S&P to kick things off. It's Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. A bit of a move downside continuing, actually a little bit of follow through coming through now for the NASDAQ. Again, across the board, these numbers coming in the wrong direction this morning. PPI month over month for February, 0.6 versus a 0.3% uptick expected there. That's not good. Initial jobless claims, 209,000. Versus 219 expected there, so that's not good. I mean, it's good because there's less people filing, but not good for the overall economy in the market. As far as the Fed is concerned, 1.8 million on the continuing number versus 1.9. A whole bunch of data just out there, 1.6% on the PPI year over year versus a 0.9% print there. That's a huge miss. Retail sales year over year, 1.5% versus 1%. Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. I mean, I don't know exactly what to make of these numbers because PPI is becoming less and less important as of late. But yeah, this is not a good sign with respect to where the Fed was wanting to go. We always talk about this. The area for CPI between 3% to 2% seems to be the toughest. And I guess PPI no different in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, the market, I was talking with Frank a couple of weeks ago about this. The market seems to be comfortable in this area. You know, we're at all-time highs for stocks here. So there's the NASDAQ right now back to basically aftermarket levels. So trying to stay positive, but only just 0.2 right now. The S&P, same story, back downside, but not a huge move here, guys, off these numbers.
Yeah, but I thought we didn't care about inflation or any kind of price increases. Come on. Who cares? You're supposed to rally anyways. That's what the market has generally been doing. We'll see what happens.
Doesn't go the other way.
Yeah, we'll sort of see what happens today. I mean, it's like you said, it's not that big of a move. We were up 0.5%. Now we're up like 0.2%. So most of the things that I was looking at that are green have stayed green. We'll have Apple got some good news, Foxconn with a positive outlook, so I think that's going to be back in play after looking a little bit weak yesterday. On the flip side of things, you saw at the end of the day cratering on Tesla and Rivian. The EV names are still going to be under pressure. They're shorts until they're not. We've got to be able to stick to that. And it was a bit of a late rally in some of the chips. And earnings, maybe not the one everybody expected to be looking good. It's Robinhood. That's the best I'm going to do for a rhyme with Robinhood. And good, hood, everything is good under the hood for Robinhood. How about that? That sounds a little bit better. 10% to the upside is Robinhood, 7-point-something% short float. This should be a good name for active trading today. It's done $1 million. But wow, I remember we had that poll. I want to say it was 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, I don't want to bring this up.
Well, no, whatever, right? Like
we were all the same.
No,
way.
It is what it is. We had this poll maybe 2 months ago. It was in February.
I think it was, yeah, right around.
I think it was right around here, and it was: would you rather buy shares of Robinhood or SoFi? And I thought it was okay, fine. Like most people chose SoFi in the poll. But at that moment, like, it doesn't matter what shows in the poll. Like, my money's in SoFi. And Robinhood, from that moment, has gone up $8. So that's like 70-something%. And SoFi, wait for it. Oh, that's still a Robinhood chart.
No, don't.
And
don't.
SoFi, well, I mean, come on. It's just reality.
And
SoFi.
What's wrong with SoFi?
Well, the good news for SoFi is it hasn't lost support. But the bad news would be, in that same time period, SoFi is now down approximately, let's call it 3 or 4%. So suffice to say that Robinhood has done better than SoFi in that time period, and it's not even close.
I'm gonna use I don't know if Nimit's in the chat or not, but there was somebody that messaged me on Twitter a couple days after me and you were talking about that, and they said, all right, they switched from SoFi to Robinhood. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, good luck kind of thing. And then they messaged me, I guess a month or so ago, and says, yeah, great advice. I'm so glad that, you know, we talked about that and switched over to Robinhood, but I didn't do that. So, but anyways, yeah, welcome to the jungle one more time here. I actually have Apple, Tesla as well, looking at those two names. We'll look at a few other risers today. We had Lithium America I saw up pretty nice. And then, unfortunately, I don't know what I'm supposed to be paying for that Fisker reservation now for the Ocean that Randy had.
What reservation?
Exactly. I don't think they're delivering any sort of an Ocean if you had a deposit on there. It's down to 18 damn cents right now. If anybody's down with YOLOing anything, I mean, Fisker at some point, you know, we always say this. Sharif says it more often than not, but like not financial advice here. But like Fisker down here at 18 cents, it has a 30% short float. I'll be looking long today. Bounced off 16 cents here, 17 cents. Could be something. Let's let it open up and make sure that it doesn't absolutely crack here. So could halt. Devastating news here for Fisker. As remember we talked about it before. They were having going concern issues. I think it was up here at 79 or 80 cents. And then, you know, since then, we haven't been able to get out of the way, right? And so sometimes when we say when there's smoke, there's fire, I mean, that smoke was, I think it was right into here, where it was 70 or 80 cents. It might have even been up here. You know, I'll have to go back and find, and that wasn't in January. So it must have just been back here. About a month ago, they had going concerns. They talked about liquidity issues and not being able to possibly continue. At least they were honest with us. And now down here for Fisker, down to 18 cents. So this was a name that I think, again, complete destruction in the EV space. Right, you guys can all hate on, everybody can hate on any stock they want. Tesla might be not performing that well, but some of these other EV names continue to be kicked down the road. And then Rivian had a chance to go there as well, and it's right back to where we're long. We're long here at 11.25. It went up to 14 or so. We were going to, I mean, we talked about getting out. If it got to 15, where we saw some support, we missed it by about $1. Still holding the bag on Rivian. Let's see what happens here in the EV space. But yeah, that PPI number, Neil, got us down, and it's still positive on the day. I don't know. We got this guy Bear over here. I don't know. The two trading ideas I have right now is Tesla short, Apple long, Google long. So we're kind of on it, and then Fisker long. What do you think?
I have something either direction. Like I like Apple. Google has been strong since it bounced the 50 period. 5 days, positive days in a row for them. The EVs have been easy shorts. ARM. We're always going to be looking for short the pop in ARM until proven otherwise. And I think, you know, we talk about this with the IPO lockup. I mean, oddly enough, since that date, you had the bottom on the imbalance. Like the biggest move down on ARM was on the imbalance. That came out at about 9, it was like 9.28 or something like that. And then right into the open, it made a low. And since then, it's actually been an upward trend. So we got away with the short yesterday at the open. But I'll be looking for the same things. Maybe not the 31 level, because we're pretty much right here right now. But that 35 top, if it breaks that, maybe like a 42. But there's kernels of strength out there. We were talking about Google. I mean, Microsoft has been super strong, so that should be at least looked at as something for a line of strength. And you know, the trend is your friend. I actually have an order when that number came out. I'm like, if we go down far enough to hit support on Alphabet, I'll just go ahead and take that 139.5. But bounce off the 50 period, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row to the upside since holding the 200 period on Alphabet. So there's going to be, I think there's opportunities in both directions. I don't think it's definitive enough. And everyone will overreact to an 830 number. And I feel like this reaction is proof of that.
Just reading about, speaking of electric vehicles here, just reading some details about BMW over in Germany trading higher today. Their deliveries totaled 2.5 million, it looks like. Premium vehicles were delivered to customers in the year to the end of December 2023. So beat for BMW, another automaker looking to go all electric as well. Here's BTC. I saw a couple of people mentioning some of the equities related. Bitcoin not really doing much, still hanging out top end of the range here, but tight daily candle so far for Bitcoin, down slightly to start. But yeah, I guess some of the equities worth having a look at once again today.
The only one that's green on my chart right now is MicroStrategies. Wow, what a move up for MicroStrategies. Michael Saylor taking to the airwaves yesterday and basically calling all us fiat currency holders the future poor, I guess, or in some sort of way. With respect to what it's doing on the day, they announced a $500 million senior note, and it's up about 1 1/3% on that news.
Yeah, just seeing for BMW, just going back to that again, the operating margins in the quarter, 9.8% versus 8.9% expected.
Not bad.
That's not bad for them.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
I didn't even hear, what was the number? 9% versus 8% of what?
9.8 versus 8.8 for operating margins.
Oh,
I mean,
margins.
That's good. No, that's
right.
definitely good.
Yeah, we'll
no
take
question
that.
about that. I mean, the thing is, you started with crypto, and then like I had like a daily chart of BTC up. So yeah, that margin number is exciting, but when I'm looking at a chart of Bitcoin, it's obviously a little bit more exciting than that. Let's be real for a second. But you know, we keep talking about this, and it's not the same for the miners. And if you look at Mara, I'm not getting away from this well. It flat bottom broke as Bitcoin's making highs, going into the halving. This has been under pressure. It also had the offering. Since earnings, this has been flushing, and it flat bottom broke a couple days ago and has just been trending lower. Ended up closing on the bottoms. So I just want to continue looking for shorts. Maybe it's 21. The $20 level in the afternoon was a good one. And this little 19.25, it could flat bottom break as well. And if Bitcoin were to pull back, that's just another reason that I think this one can be continue to be under some pressure. So I think there's just always ideas in both directions, because as strong as Bitcoin and crypto has been in general, you have had some weakness in this. And I mean, Coinbase as well. Coinbase, despite everything, was weak as well yesterday. What's going on with Tesla?
There might be, Brendan, there might be news on Tesla, Brendo. Tesla right now is very, very aggressive. Tesla straight up $3 right now to the upside. I understand the market is going here, but Tesla's really starting to go. So just watch out for that. I'm still going to be off looking at that 172 level. Hopefully it doesn't blast up too high here. Maybe we got to get an order out.
No, this is a lot of volume.
There has to be news here on this. So Brendan will get this for us in a minute, but I'm just going to set up my order just in case we do blast higher here, because I don't mind the short. Okay, what I wanted to say was about crypto. If I ever tell you I'm selling anything, go in there and buy it immediately. You could see here, I told you yesterday we sold some Solana at 154 or 157. It's 170 right now. Solana starting to go. This now is your altcoin movement. Solana is starting to go. Look at Ethereum down, Bitcoin down, basically, over the last 24 hours, flat. That'll probably turn red. Solana up 11, Cardano up 3.5, Doge up 8, Avalanche, Shiba Inu, Polkadot, Polygon not, but all these other names starting to go right now. So watch out here. Altcoin season may have just started. Who knows? Solana's high is 250. We talked about Cardano up to 78 cents now. This is getting real juicy here for some of these altcoins. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. And then I want to thank Chris Brecher last night on the recap show, because he discussed the halvening. And he showed us the last time we halved in Bitcoin, the hash rate there. Mara actually went down, I think it was 50% on that the following month. And he looked at Riot and Mara. So be aware of that. I'm glad Neil brought that up. But Mara right now, definitely in a down draw. and we're gonna have to figure that all out. I'm not smart enough to figure that one, but Chris Brecher did some work for us yesterday on the recap show, so go find that if you are interested. But again, if you're that interested in Bitcoin and stuff like that, then you know sort of about this event, and hopefully if you're invested in it, you're properly ready for this, because 72,000, we've seen Bitcoin drop $10,000 in an hour, $5,000 in 5 minutes watching it here. So you got to be very, very careful with those investments. I'm recently in iBit, and I did sell some Solana yesterday at 154, and now it's at 170. So there you go. But all right, let's go back to the desk and start watching some of these stocks. As there goes Tesla. We just talked about it, man. I don't know, Brendan and Sharif, if there was news there. No, so just a nice, excited move to the upside. And in fact, sometimes you don't need news when there's certain people in there buying. So we'll go back over to the desk and find out.
Weird time to have bought.
I know. What's up with that?
I still don't see anything. There isn't anything. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, I mean, there was a note on Elon talking about AI, but nothing significant. Nothing that he hasn't done before. Hey, there's Luis Barbato joining us from the Barcelona Real Trading Office. Good to see you, Luis. Welcome.
Welcome, Brennan. How are you?
Fantastic. A lot to discuss here. We were just touching on crypto there, Bitcoin as well. Not really doing anything this morning, but obviously huge move up over the past couple of weeks and months. Robinhood out with a better than expected report after the close yesterday. Back higher to start here in the pre-market this morning. Give me your thoughts here to start things off here on Robinhood.
Yeah, very good earnings on Robinhood. It's been pushing for many, many days. It's around 100% up already for the last weeks. Very good news. Let's see how is the level 2. If we have enough bids and offers and enough movements, enough noise, as we like to call it. So buyers and sellers coming in, not taking only one side trending movement. Let's see how it behaves when the market opens. So far, I don't like the level 2 kind of moves. So I need a little bit more crowded bids and offers there. If it gets crowded when the market opens, we will see some short sides against the resistance of the double top we made pre-market.
When you say something like that, I don't like the level 2. Is that a liquidity issue, or is it a lack of interest issue at this point?
Well, right now it's pre-market. It it's hard to forecast how it's going to look when the market opens. But right now it's very, very thin. I mean, we rarely have bids and offers. Only 100 shares on each side, 6, 7, 8 cents of a spread. So it's a little bit tricky to find the right timing to go in the trade with a decent risk. So I need every bid and every offer at least to have 500, 1,000 shares per side, so we can go with enough decent sizing.
All right, lots of other ones moving around here this morning as well, including some AI-related movement again this morning. SoundHound back to the upside. We had BBAI, I saw, was pretty active here to start as well. I mean, this group just continues to march higher. Is there a point at which you start looking on the other side of the trade to the downside?
Absolutely, mainly in Sound today. We're looking for a short. I already took a short against the 10 resistance around level 10. I'm getting out 950, 940, 930s. I think we're ready to look for the backside on Sound against this 10 resistance. It's hard to say, but I don't think we're going to see new highs today on Sound. The pre-market seems kind of exhausted for the buyers, so we're going to look for shorts on the short side on Sound. On the other way, on BBAI, on DFAI, we're looking for these round levels to break. On BBAI, we have the 3 round level. If it breaks 3, we can go higher and higher. And on DFAI, we had the 4 round level, which is a multi-day break. I think if you put like hours or even days, you see it's a multi-day break. So if it goes over 4, we might see a lot of buyers coming in.
When it comes to anything else moving around here this morning, I mean, there's lots. We're going to touch on UiPath here coming off their earnings report. A little bit higher price there, though. But is that something that you'll take a look at today in PATH?
PATH, I haven't checked this one, sorry. Was not on my radar so far. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive stock. We need some more volume so far, not enough volume. Earnings report as well. not the kind of stock we like here in the office due to the price, to the level actions. Not gonna take on this one side.
Perfect. Anything else catching your eye here this morning, Luis?
We have one Hong Kong crazy shit running. CCTJ is moving right now up. How much? It's right now. It's not much. I think it's 30% up. But if we break highs, this stock has gone crazy a couple of weeks ago. I think I remember. Let me check on the charts. We have one crazy movement to $30. So be aware of this. If we have some volume coming in, remember Chinese stocks for the last weeks has gone crazy on the long side. Huge runner. So if we consolidate over this 430, 420 area and we break 440, 460, we might go higher and higher. There is no limit, remember, for Chinese stock when it goes up. So be careful with this one sorting.
Yeah, I was just trying to find the float on this. It's not a lot, I would imagine. Did you have it?
It's 2 million float.
Yeah, 2 million.
I think, yeah.
One of those, again, great stuff. Luis Barbato.
1.4 on dilution tracker. I would trust more dilution tracker than other sites.
Yeah, a teeny tiny one anyways for that CCSC Technology International Holdings, whatever on earth that is, as you put it so well.
No one knows, right?
Great stuff. Luis Barbato joining us from the Real Trading office over in Barcelona, Spain. Have a great Thursday.
Thank you very much, Brennan. Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's what I love about Luis. You know what though? The best part, like low key, the best part of Luis coming on is you heard when Brendan brought up UiPath. You know, quite frankly, like Luis is like, that's not something that's in our toolbox. Not toolbox, but it's just not something that interests us because your style of trade is your style of trade. If you want liquidity, if you want the low float runners, if you want those types of plays like the CCTGs apparently, the SOUNs, then that can be a different ball game from trading like a UiPath on earnings. It's just not going to trade the same, or a Robinhood on earnings. So you've got to sort of stay to your own zone. I saw the float as even smaller. Like I saw 1.3 million share float on this. So either way, it's going to be a really tiny one on CCTG. That pop in Tesla, by the way, which we were saying didn't seem to happen on any news. I just took the opportunity to get on the offer. I was going to short Rivian anyways. So I saw that happen. Rivian kind of went up a little bit on sympathy into afternoon's close and resistance. And there's already a seller. Like afternoon's close is 71, and there's already somebody sitting at 71. So I'm shorting back into this and probably giving it to 1180. Just given the fact, I mean, Tesla is now green on the day. And just because Tesla's good, A, doesn't mean Rivian should be any good. And B, I'm just not completely convinced the shorts are done here. We'll keep our ear to the ground to see if there's actually anything happening on that Tesla move. Because the volume, I mean, when I was looking at the level 2, like the volume and the weight and the velocity and the fact that it's even holding up here and didn't snap back down a couple of dollars kind of suggests that something's up, or there's certainly some buyers down there. I mean, I have to change. Sometimes you got to change your plan on the fly, but I'm not changing the plan on Rivian just yet.
Yeah, thanks, Luis, for coming through again, talking about some of those names. And that just goes back to the things that we're always talking about, different styles. He likes to look at those sort of low float, names that are extended or moving around on news. So just another one of the strategies you guys can have at Real Trading. So Luis there in Barcelona. So there we go, another example of a Real Trading office. And thanks, Luis. And it was just a couple of days ago that he was showing us around his new office. I think it was a couple weeks ago, and that was really sweet. So thanks for that, Luis, and thank you for hopping on again and showing us a couple different styles of trading and some things that your office there in Barcelona is looking at. And if you want any information how to join Luis's office, go over to Real Trading or just tweet at tradertv.live and we'll be able to forward it to you. I think it's AD Trading, but I don't want to.
AD.
Yeah. Anyways, let me know if you need his information. I'll get it to you. To the desk or to Adara? Let's go to Adara then.
Goldman Sachs here, first upgrade of the day from Daiwa Securities. Oracle getting upgraded by Argus and trading slightly higher. This one had a pretty strong earnings report earlier this week. Another post-earnings upgrade here is UiPath getting upgraded from JP Morgan Chase, and Argus giving an upgrade here to Marathon Oil. For downgrades, Chubb, first one up here. Price target increase from 238 to 275, but getting downgraded to neutral by Citigroup. Oshkosh getting downgraded here by Truist. Truist also downgrading Cummins. And last but not least, Spruce Biosciences here trading much lower here and getting a downgrade from H.C. Wainwright, guys.
All right. We'll talk a lot of, I mean, anything on there catching your eye, first of all? Nothing standing out a lot, but.
Not really, Brendo. Yeah, just the upgrade there to Goldman Sachs, which was interesting. We see, they focus a lot on deal making. We haven't seen too many IPOs this year, so we'll have to watch what the launch pad is.
Yeah, relative strength yesterday in banks in general across the board. So we'll see if they participate a little bit more today again. Coin here, I just noticed on a volume spike through 250. Actually broke 250, but just took it back. I mean, Bitcoin's still not really doing much here, guys, but some of these equities downside so far.
Doesn't matter.
So Goldman Sachs, it's a flat top break that I don't know if there's any catalyst that's going to get it to break this flat top, because maybe that's why Sharif was interested in that one as well, and that one was the top of the list. So like this, again, sometimes we get a chance to talk about these, sometimes we don't, but like if that's not at least remotely interesting as a trader, I don't know what we're looking at, and maybe it's not, these wick highs are like 97 and 98. Maybe it's just if it gets over $400. I think that's going to be worth a look. We like flat top breaks. We like flat bottom breaks. I think it sort of behooves you to be interested in those ones. So I don't know what you think about that, Goldman, but I haven't called this stock up probably in this year. And so when I saw it on that upgrade list, it's just so obvious. And the 50 period has been hugging as well. So even if it goes down, you got to look at 385 and say, hey, why wouldn't you play that trend? It's not just, this is the breadth of this rally is probably a little bit better than I think some people realize when you're only looking at these tech names all over the place. So it's a pretty good looking flat top break. I just don't know if that catalyst is going to be enough to get it over the hump. That's all.
Yeah, so in disappointing news of the day for me, I'm just looking it up right now. I don't have any Goldman Sachs left, but I looked it up. So I sold. I've already talked about this. I'm very light now in JP Morgan as it just keeps on going higher, and I've been raising some capital in some of these names. So we've already sold. We sold some of this in the 390s, all of it basically. This was the bank that I had owned for quite a long time. We had sort of talked about buying. I only ever owned 2 U.S. banks ever. It was Goldman. Well, and then Neil was like, "What about SoFi?" So I do still have SoFi, which is so stupid. But anyways, we were buying this one a long time ago. I can't even remember the levels. But as soon as we broke through this 380 and then we started to bounce around here 390, I'm out of this name. But I do think that you could get back into it. I remember at the beginning of the year, I wasn't super happy with XLF, and I thought, okay, is it breaking out or is it not? And I sold. So I did sell this name at the end of January or somewhere in here. I'll look up the price, but probably around 390. Just saw this huge run up, and really, I'm out of Goldman Sachs. I thought I still had a small piece left, but I don't. So I may get back into this. I think that Neil's probably right. You got to look at these names when you break through key levels. $400 has to be there. As a day trader, though, you got to look at spread. And right now, this is $1. So I'd say get interested up at 400. It looks like it wants to go. And JP Morgan, thankfully, we still have a piece left on this one. But I am like over the moon at how some of these names have reacted. We looked at Williams-Sonoma that we'll talk about soon on that kind of a run. But is a bank supposed to do this? I mean, this is 138 all the way up to 191 and change, still paying a solid dividend. What hurricane, Jamie Dimon? A couple about what, a year and a half ago, he's like, oh, there's a hurricane coming. Yeah, what's up with that? Huge move to the upside for JP Morgan. Congratulations, anybody that's in any of these names. And a lot of us are either in individual names or in ETFs like the XLF or other ones that exist out there. The KRE would be the regional bank. But look at XLF. It's the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's close. All the way to the upside. These financial markets just keep improving, I guess, right? Economy pretty strong, apparently. We've had now something like 25 months of under 4% unemployment rate, something like that. So, I mean, the market keeps getting stronger. Rates still staying high. I don't know what to think, but I always think the banks are overdone, but I just keep getting proved wrong.
All right, let's get into everything else. Is there audio on that? No? Okay, never mind. Let's get into everything else that we need to know here at 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to kick things off with a look at the futures.
We are on the new contract, guys. Don't forget, this is the June 21st contract. We've rolled now from the March 1 to the June 1. So with respect to the closing print yesterday, 52.32, that's where we closed off at. Let's say that 50.50, still a key level of resistance. Haven't been able to close above this level on the 4-hour. Let's go ahead and say 52.25 for support. That was the low end of the range yesterday.
If you haven't done so, make sure you grab that. Super easy. Scan that QR code or go to the watch list, tradertv.live. That exact pop-up will appear. And all you have to do is enter your email address, and then it shows up in your inbox every morning. 2 days in a row here, setting up to be. Anyways, 2 days in a row here, downside for NVDA. 1.6% right now under pressure. Prominent Chinese analysts coming out this morning suggesting the GH200 shipments have been slower than expected. Say it isn't so for NVIDIA at this point. Also, Google, Intel, and Qualcomm have expressed their intentions to challenge NVIDIA. No. What's happening?
They want to take part of the 92% market share that they have, Brendo. I mean, everybody's going to be clawing at market share here. So we'll have to wait and see. And Jeff Bezos, famously said, your margins are my profits. So obviously, you're going to have the Intels, the AMDs coming for this to try to take some market share. But don't forget, next week, 4 days in a row, Monday to Thursday, we have that NVIDIA conference. Keep your eye out for new product reveals, and obviously we're going to have price action.
As we sit here, trying to get back to the upside right now, 900 was that key level yesterday.
Been slowly going down. What's up, Randy?
Randy brought the coffee, so cheers on coffee and everything like that. I wanted to ask Randy, we've just been talking here to Randy, and thank you to Ramin for letting me know that I don't have my earpiece in, so that was really good. I was like, I'm losing, my hair, but am I losing my mind as well? Randy, Fisker, apparently possible reports coming out of the Wall Street Journal of bankruptcy potentially imminent right here. If you look at this daily chart, I mean, here it is right here. I was just saying to Neil and to Randy, do we just buy puts on Rivian, Lucid, what's the other one? I mean, Ride is down, Workhorse, or Nikola, Polestar, everything. I mean, this was $7, Randy, back in October. Yeah. Now down to 18 cents. You mentioned Nissan. Are you hearing anything on that? Or
I haven't heard anything since that little. It was a rumor. I don't see any harmony there. I don't. The Japanese operate in a different manner. Mm-hmm. Nissan could use some EV technology, but this is Henry Fisker's second dance. Right. It doesn't look good. I mean, they've got my $100, but hey, the Ocean's a great vehicle, but there's a lot of things that are wrong here. Excellence in execution is how you get this done, and I just don't see them having it. If they don't find a bailout or a bond issue to get this off the ground, I don't see it happening. So it's unfortunate because they had a lot of good things going, but here we are.
Randy, you can't be that smart, start talking about bond auctions and all that kind of stuff. That is like way too next level for us. So, but yeah, look, here we go again, man. 18 cents looking to go lower. So I would agree with you. Maybe we don't touch this until we get some positive news here.
Unless there's some magic bailout of some sort, I don't see this ending happily.
People want to know, why is Randy kept in the back? What projects are you working on right now?
I know what you're working on. We know what he's working on, but we're not supposed to.
What, that room? He's not in that room. We have other people working in that secret room.
Saw you in there once.
I think Randy's building some Bitcoin mining machines or something there in one of these.
Oh, that's what we should.
Remember, me and Randy, I'm gonna out us now because nothing's gonna happen to us. Maybe. Randy and I had discussed about 5 years ago. Remember, we were gonna try to sneak some stuff into the server room and use the power from this place and start to mine coins and just not tell anybody?
I hate to break it to you. There were some traders that talked about doing the same thing on the trading floor too. And I'm like, you realize, of course, like you can't.
These are the minds that we have.
Like you're not getting.
You gotta hustle.
You're not getting away with that though.
The hustlers.
We're the hustlers.
What's XOM doing?
But just to protect Randy, I suggested it. He said
XOM.
no immediately. Okay.
Always
so
about XOM. See, you know, Randy.
He wants to change the subject real quick.
No, but Randy loves his XOM, and it's up at
110, Randy.
110, baby.
Man, this guy was over here. This guy not only talking about EVs, but this guy's all about the energy space as well. Randy, man, we were talking about this thing at $97. Yeah. Oh man,
Back above the 200
this is the market that we're in, boy. Randy is the man in the back. All right. More information about your secret project coming soon.
I don't know how
To
secret it is
Netflix
anymore.
near you.
Which is also at the high. Netflix is flying the last couple days.
Oh man. All right, I'm gonna write this sticky note because we got to get this out.
XOM is actually looking
Mining
fantastic.
Bitcoin.
Fantastic. Up at $110. That looks pretty good. It's in the midst of a breakout.
I know.
Why are we looking at energy? This got room.
We were. I mean, we
There's
were
room.
looking at CVX.
But the problem with CVX is CVX lost the Permian Basin deal, and I forget the name of the company. I should remember it. And XOM got it. So XOM is just a little bit stronger than CVX because of that. So CVX has gone off the bottom as well, but it hasn't continued its breakout because they're losing that deal. I mean, they're still both good. It's just XOM's been that little bit better for that reason. I guess we're supposed to go back to the desk and
I feel like Randy got mad at me there for outing our secret plan. Okay, yeah, so XOM, I mean, great bottom there. Unfortunately, I've just hold what I have there, and I've been buying the XLE, as you guys know, which has also been performing quite well. All right, let's go back to the desk because we didn't even talk about NVIDIA there, by the way, or anything else. Let me just look at NVIDIA real quick right there because Randy showed up with the coffees and changed everything. Yesterday, we took $9.50 on NVIDIA, so we have basically 3 separate trades of $3 each trade. Pretty much. We talked about that yesterday. We had this short rate here at 900 at 1 o'clock. That went right into VWAP. We talked about that. Then we had some longs yesterday in there, and we got out at, remember we were buying these dips into 905 right at the end of the day, and we got a 909.50, and we were really happy with that. So that turned out to be good. And then we had something else. I believe we had, anyways, I'm not sure where we had another one, but we had 3 trades yesterday, and I kind of want to do the same thing here today. Let's just make sure that we can get above the 200 period before we do anything. So right now that's sitting at $900. For me, I think it's a short today because we're short against the market. I'm going to keep it that simple, Neil. I'm not going to try to do anything crazy here. NVIDIA's down 1.5%. The market's positive. So I'm just going to roll with negative sentiment until we get above 900.
I've made one trade in the last 3 days that I've done 3 times, 4 days in NVIDIA. And it's been if it shows a double top into a flat top and then triple the 3rd time is a breakout. So I had it here, and of course, when we did it on the 11th, this was that top. It broke out, and guys, you scalp it, and it ends up being the right decision there. But when we took it here, I scalped the trade in the first $6, and then it goes higher. Yesterday was exactly the same thing. It made a bottom. There's 1, there's 2, higher low, triple top, breakout. So I'm just going to wait. If that setup happens on NVIDIA, I'll go long that setup. If I don't see that setup, then I probably don't trade NVIDIA, and I go to short something else. Intel is a continuation play from yesterday. So there's your lower high at 43.85. I don't think we see 44 today, or 45 today, 44. That also works as well. So I want to short pops in Intel. And then AMD was just a little bit weaker. This 196, we shorted it early yesterday and then kind of got away from it because we were trading other things. I mean, Mara was okay, Rivian was good, but AMD wasn't quite the exact same level up here, but it was the general 196, 197 area. So on a pop, I'd want to short some AMD. This has been still in the midst of a pullback. Like that one last hurrah over $200, but really this seems like it's pulling back to prior resistance, which was 185. Short the pops.
All right, we'll touch on Apple here. It was trying to hold on to, I mean, it's still positive on the day, but coming back in here pretty heavily through 172 right now. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Great feature on Trade Ideas. If you haven't done so, use the QR code bottom right corner right now. Grab a copy. This is 1 month worth of data. So Apple down 6.23% since February 14th. has not been positive. You were just making the case around that 180 mark. You know, as soon as that went, you know, there wasn't really much to talk about.
It was consecutively lower highs with that 180 acting as a flat bottom. Typically, we know what that is. Usually, we give way eventually at that 180 level. We'll see how far we go here on Apple. But with respect to the headline today, it was really Foxconn coming in with better than expected guidance for 2024. They're really here praising AI servers. It's not really the smartphone segment of their business that's really bumping up the guidance here, Brendo. But with respect to guidance, they're looking at revenue growth of more than 40% this year. We'll have to see how much they can hang on to with respect to margins, but that's huge.
Yeah, if you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, still just kind of inside of the range here around this 172, guys. Doesn't look good for Apple.
Doesn't it, though? I don't know.
Apple? Yeah.
I mean, like, what am I supposed to pretend that the daily chart? That's the thing about the chart. You can't hide from it. Like, when we did that SoFi Robinhood comparison, like, you could say all the things you want to about SoFi, whether you like it or not, and think it has a chance to go, but when you pull the chart up, the chart's going to speak for itself, and you can't lie your way around that or rationalize yourself around it. So it doesn't look great for Apple. However, I'll give you two things. One, we haven't broken the October low, so that's not bad. And the second part is, if you look at the recent range, hey, these wicks were gone before. What's interesting is, this week the wicks are gone. About 160, you have this 169 dip. There was that one dip underneath 170, and then since it got reclaimed, that 169, it's held some support. It didn't really do a great rally off 171 yesterday, but for all intents and purposes, it did hold that level. So I think working back in there can be a decent bounce play for Apple. You can clearly see that 174 afternoon short 2 days ago is resistance, so 74 gives you a tradable level as well in the other direction. Like, I think you can look both ways here, because I got too hung up on looking for that breakout at 74 that afternoon. It was a short like 4 or 5 times before then. So you got resistance at 74, which is clean. If it breaks out there, I think you can go for longs over. And you got to be patient. I don't know if I want to be buying dips until it's at least, maybe even underneath 171. That was the better way to go. If you longed in front of 171, it wasn't great, but underneath 171 into 170.5 was a little better for Apple. So I like the positive note from Foxconn, and they are gapped up here. But with the market looking a little bit heavy-ish after that number, I think you got to be patient. You know, got to be really, really patient. You had to be very patient the last 2 days on those dips, because it has fallen at open twice in a row.
Yeah, so we actually, we just put the sticky note out. We had the same thing on it today as we did yesterday. That was Apple 171. But as Neil mentioned, the same thing happened yesterday, where we just tanked into 172. And we were buying 172s yesterday and had to get out of that one before realizing that 171 was the jam. So we bought 171s yesterday, and we got them out. We got them out up here for 20, 30 cents, and then eventually was able to hold them through VWAP and then up to the 50 period, and then got the last piece out when we broke a little bit lower. But what I just wrote down on the sticky note today is something that's very, very simple, okay? And it's not rocket science. It's just, first of all, we have Apple up here, right? Positive news with Foxconn. That's it. Look at this. Take the long ahead of 170, 171, and hold it for a late day pump like we have had. It seems like we always get Apple, and then this happens near the end of the day. So here's a nice move down, right? Here's a nice move down yesterday. This is the day before, right? The day before that, again, here's the move down. It doesn't bottom till about 11 o'clock, but then you get going a little bit, end of the day higher. This day didn't really work out, but there's the late day pump into 230. So here's the move down early, and there's the pump late. Sure, it fades off at the end of the day, but if you can try to hold on to Apple, I feel like this 170 area, 171, is definitely something that you want to put big shares on. I mean, look at it down here yesterday. Why does it crash into this level and then hold it? So again, I talked about this with BPI behind me here. If we break through 170, then we say, okay, that's a big level. It broke. We tried this level here, and it didn't work. So I think this is worth trying here today on Apple. Positive Foxconn catalyst. The market's trying to figure out what it wants to do. But remember, if the market comes screaming in, Apple's not going to be able to defend anything. So we're going to wait to see about that 171 level. If it breaks like this 170, what is this? 170.80, then you get out for a 20-cent hit. Even if you have 2,000 shares or something, it's $400. Okay, you know, you regroup that and then you have your 170 level. I think Apple's worth it down here at 170, and honestly, this could be a very, very big trade today. Let's see what the market thinks.
All right, let's go to Tesla on a bounce here. Still haven't found any reason for this. I mean, there wasn't a heck of a lot of volume behind that, but nice pop back above 168 there, trying to hold our 168.5. That's 1 month. I was reading this morning that it's the two worst stocks in the S&P this year, Boeing and Tesla. Tesla down more than 30%. So that's, I mean, if you came in January 1st and said,
Yep.
Boeing and Tesla are going to be the two worst stocks going into the end of March. That's a surprise.
It's a statement. Well, I think Boeing deserves it. Tesla, I think, is just a product of the economic environment, Brendo. But let's talk about what UBS said today about Tesla. They're trimming their price target from 225 down to 165. It's basically their Q1 delivery forecast. They're trimming that down from 466,000 cars they think Tesla's going to deliver in Q1 down to 432. They're also saying that the cut is driven by slower demand in Western countries, intense competition in China, and the expectations that there's going to be very limited Model 2 unit deliveries in 2025. So they think that the growth here is going to be more of a 2026 story, Brendo.
Yeah, a few cautionary notes as well from analysts this morning once again. But here we are, guys, back higher again for Tesla.
Yeah, it's like this move is actually getting interesting. Like, it just bounced. Not that it matters VWAP this early in the day, but Tesla did, for what it's worth, bounce off VWAP just now. So there's a little bit of juice to whatever is causing this to go to the upside. Look, it was a flat bottom break, that 72 level yesterday, and then you can see what happened there. So that's still the big level. Let me just draw the line back. So you have to hit save, Neil, after you draw the line. So I'll just hit the save and make sure that that stays around. So that was the flat bottom break yesterday. I might prefer Rivian now short because of what we just saw in Tesla. That move upside gave shorts in front of Sevi and Rivian. It was able to get some out 60s, able to get some out 55s as well, short here at 66. And this is just following along the lines of what we were just talking about. At least Tesla makes money, so all the weakness in the EV space, with them, you can figure, well, you can hold on to Tesla for a few years and it'll probably be okay. It's not the same proposition for all of the other EV names. Some of them, it's not just Fisker. Others will not survive too. And we don't know who they're going to be. So I think it's easier maybe to look at those where you can for some shorts. I mean, Tesla's going to give you great opportunities as well, but I don't know why Tesla spiked up there in the first place. So I'm shorting this back into 1180. Tesla has to wait for 72. And I didn't get a chance to mention this when Randy came in, but I don't wonder. Like we showed that Fisker chart when it made the fresh low and broke down, and then just how it slid towards penny stock status. Lucid is getting really close to just sliding right down to the fresh low at 250, and it's now within 10% of that. This gets to 250 and breaks it one day. I think you got to be looking at Lucid, which is like it's on the precipice of another like big breakdown. It's a slow grind, and when it accelerates, I think you want to be there. So the EV names, I still think they're shorts until proven otherwise. If you're going to lose on a short, at least it should be with the trend, you know. And these have been clearly trending.
Okay, Tesla, yeah. So we wrote down Tesla. I was still looking at Apple here. We wrote down Tesla on the sticky note of 172. It was my #1 name yesterday. We shorted 176 yesterday right there. Sorry, that's not yesterday. This is yesterday. So we shorted right there 175.50 into 176. That's the level we wrote down yesterday for a short. But right now today, you see this 172 area? We couldn't bust through there. We were short in the afternoon as well. Tesla was my #1 stock yesterday. We had 3 or 4 shorts. We played it back to VWAP. We played it back to VWAP, and then we shorted in here at 172, only to see it collapse in and then come in today and see it at 166. Sometimes holding overnight is good. Sometimes it's not. If you play the Tesla trend, it's been really red. So we were like panicking there in the pre-market when Tesla was starting to run a little bit. But I'm still sitting there. I'm still sitting at 172. I like the short. What I wrote down is if we get going and break this like 172.50, then let's get out. But now that I see this 173 and Tesla's sort of settled down, I think we're going to cancel our stop was at 172, and I'm going to put it up here at 173. I really feel that we want this to break in order to be wrong. So let's see if we get a bump up. We'll start the shorting probably around 170. But again, let's see what happens here off the open. It's been pretty violent moves. Like yesterday, the short was great, but we had to go up first $4. So let's see if that happens again here today. We're sitting at 172 now. Could be a little bit, a little bit too high. But we'll wait to see what happens with Tesla today. Been weak. Follow the trend because, as they say, that is also your friend.
That's what we've heard.
Just be aware, guys. There is a SpaceX launch happening in 6 minutes.
Wow.
So the countdown is on here for, that's a really cool shot. There's like crazy drone shot happening on this. So just be aware, 6 minutes until that is happening. We probably shouldn't show too much of that, guys, so just be aware. All right, let's talk about UiPath. Coming off earnings report. Hold on, I gotta shut this off. It's playing in my ear. There we go. Let's talk about UiPath to the upside this morning, coming off better than expected earnings report for this one today.
Yeah, Brendo, they really did well here. I mean, earnings grew 37.5% year over year. Look at revenue, grew 31.5% year over year, well exceeding expectations. The guide, though, a little bit suspect here. So they're looking for Q1 revenues to be in the range of 330 to 335. The street was looking for 347, so a bit of a miss there, Brendo, but they like where they're going into the 2025 year.
Yeah, 2550 trying to hold here as far as support for Path today.
He says, my daughter's gotten into that term, and so it's like she's a little bit late to the party, but there are so many things that are sus, including her bedtime right now, which is a lot of fun. And the thing about UiPath, I know Louis said it's not in the toolbox to trade. On earnings, it is something that we are interested in. What I think at least looks a little bit decent here, I just want to double check. It was 7.5% short float. No, sorry, check that. That was something else. It was 4% short float, so pretty small. But it broke out off $25. So $25 looks like the level that you should be concerned with today. And it did this, it looked at 8:30 and at 8 o'clock, when the numbers come out, you're going to get these spike moves. But that's right off 25 even. So I think this is an obvious, if it can hold 25, look for the longs on UiPath. And if it's breaking that, it's going to threaten to go red. So you want to see it try to hold green, and then it can be a potential break at the open. The downside is it's the kind of stock that I would have suspected would have a bigger short float. And if it was a 10 to 15% short float, it'd be near the top of the list. But it's a 4% short float. So for me, it ends up near the bottom. Like I'm just going to like Rivian and Apple and Tesla and NVDA and AMD and Intel a little bit more than sticking around on the bid at 25 on UiPath at the open. But it's showing you that level already. So I think that's where you should be watching.
Yeah, we talked about Path yesterday, obviously, on the show. Make sure I'm not muted, or I am muted here. I went to go, you know how we have those little egg things? I just went to go see if there was any there. They're gone, those omelet things.
Oh, they go fast.
These guys are ruthless. All right, so, Sharif took 27 of them. All right, so right here, I only said 27 because I'm looking right at $27 right here. So UiPath, again, it had a chance. We talked about this yesterday on the show, on the recap show when they came out with earnings. Great report, up 5%. Seems like it wants to continue to go. The short float's not as big as we thought, up to $28. I feel like if you can break that, then it's a go time. But then we're coming in and we're sort of settling right in the middle. So for me here, it's pretty simple on what I'm going to do. So here we go. This is what was trading yesterday. Look at the expected move on UiPath. 16%. Unfortunately, I can't. It's just go to the right. It's 16%. Like every time I hover over here, I got to get rid of that option. There it is right there. 16% expected move. You're only moving 5%. So, shout out to Daniel Shea and shout out to all the viewers and all of us around here as well. When a stock, Daniel Shea will be joining me tonight, by the way, on the recap show, so check that out. But when a stock doesn't move as expected, I kind of feel like we push back because the options, whoever's in that game, both will be losers, calls and puts. So it probably just goes sideways a little bit. And for me, I'm not smart enough to figure out if this is going to get smashed or not. So I'm going to wait on that because technically it's in the middle and the earnings report put it down only a third of the volatility that was expected. So for me, it's a pass on UiPath.
Under a couple minutes there, if anyone's paying attention to that Starship launch. Let's talk Hood here real quick with a few minutes ago here before the open, back to almost day highs there on that last little pop back to the upside. Nice look, 12% here today off earnings for Hood.
Yeah, this was a success story here, Brendo, and this is not a company that I've previously championed in the past, but listen to this. Assets under custody increasing 16% year over year. Net deposits increasing 29% year over year. Trading volume for equities up 36% year over year. Options contracts 12%. Crypto up 10%. Margin balances as well, Brendo, up 6%. Everything on the up and up in this company. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, as I mentioned, back to almost highs here, guys, for Robinhood today.
Oh, Robinhood.
Almost
yay.
highs.
Yeah,
well, I guess. I mean, it's
everyone's talking about
high.
SoundHound behind us.
Yeah, SoundHound's making some power moves, but Robinhood, like this is gonna open up at fresh highs. I understand it's pulled back off the pre-market, some pre-market levels.
Oh shit!
But at the end of the day, I like it when if you can hold on to like the pre-market support levels, then you can start to have a bit of a break. It's 7.5% short float. I kind of got those two mixed up, UiPath and Robinhood. But yeah, I like the fact that it's a bit of a squeeze play. And then it is holding above that obvious even dollar level 19. You got to pull out the weekly chart to even look at anything significant on Robinhood, and even then it gets a little bit ridiculous. So $20 is a biggie. Maybe we see some kind of a push off the $20 level if you're looking for an even dollar break. But you got to go all the way back to like December of 2021 to even see anything at that level, and that was on the way down. It was not even that big of a level, and then it's a big psychological one as well. So I think you can look at the 19 level at the open. A 20 break feels like that'll be a little bit later on that you could look to play that, but you got to go so far back. Who knows how significant that is? Oh goodness!
Right.
Like, you know what though? That's not a surprise. I just saw the imbalance locator on Sean's screen. Any guess what the number one with a gigantic sell is?
Yeah, Fisker is monstrous right now. Remember earnings, so Hood didn't report, they just reported those metrics, but the idea here is, I just want to bring everyone over to SoundHound again, an 18% short float with a buy imbalance right now, so it just, I was just saying, remember the guys behind us are sort of talking about it. It just bounced off this 920, 930 area, hit view up again. I think we could break this 1040, and I'd go long if we broke that. I mean, this is 17 million shares already going. It's taking out new levels right here. I think SoundHound is a long today for sure. Just a matter of where, obviously. There's Fisker. Ignore the 6 million shares. It's not really going to matter. That's going to get absorbed immediately on some of these bids somewhere. The other name I wanted to go to, I don't even see it. Well, first of all, Google shot up. We have the buy down here at 139. I thought it was going to come in. We got 139.90 was the bottom. But this was the name I wanted to show everybody because the only things that we have working on right now, believe it or not, we have Tesla, Palantir long, Tesla, Apple, Google, AMD. So it's a lot of the big names, but they're going the wrong way. We have Tesla as a short. Well, it's already starting to go. So we may have to adjust some of our price areas here, maybe 170.50, something like that for Tesla. Apple starting to go the other way as well. I just put a bid down there for Apple thinking we could get 171. It was at 171.80. It comes with a buy imbalance. So at least we're thinking the same way here as the open market, but we need the market to open to get filled. So we'll wait to see. I mean, we could take pre-market trades, but at these levels, let's let the market settle down here. I might not be in anything too early. I see Microsoft here as a buy as well. Do we have to go back there to wrap this thing up? All right, let's go back because it's only 2 minutes.
All right, guys, we're talking about volatility all week today. No different. Make sure to check out Trading Psychology during volatile markets with Darren and I on how to trade at 11.
By the way, it looks like it's a successful launch. If you're following along, things are looking pretty good so far.
Don't jinx it.
I'm not jinxing it. What I say, look, man, nothing I say is going to matter to what's going on in the upper atmosphere.
I mean, really, do
come
people
on.
believe in jinx?
Let's be real for a second. But it's looking fantastic.
Jinx.
That's always a lot of fun. SpaceX launch right there. You can see there. And I don't have to talk about something you guys can't see. Going into the open, Rivian just hit 1150 to the downside, so it looks like that is continuing to come down. And now remember, Tesla had that weird move up, and then Rivian just went right into resistance at that same moment. So it's gone 1 point to the downside already. Tesla, with 1 minute to go, has fallen already, like all the way back to where it came from. So it's weird at that moment. I don't know. I kind of felt like there had to be some news, so I went over to Rivian instead. But you should have just maybe shorted some Tesla. Apple's already been talked about, so we think we have that one covered. We have not mentioned. We mentioned Google. I don't know if we showed a chart. I did miss a dip buy on Alphabet. I like it into yesterday's support level in the afternoon. So right down here, 139.5, bit of a double bottom They're an Alphabet. And it's breaking out the top. So just missed that one. We can be patient. Patience is a virtue at the open. You definitely want to pack your patience and make sure that you stick to the prices and the plan that you like. ARM as well will be looking for an opportunity to short, though remember, that actually trended up yesterday. So despite the fact it was a good pop and fade at the open, it did trend to the upside. Want to wait for 135 if we can on ARM. So I think we pretty much covered everything. I don't know if that Starship launch means by Tesla. It's not necessarily related. SpaceX.
Here we go.
Not publicly traded. Although
Microsoft $1 away from all-time highs.
That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to bring it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great recovery,
Good recovery.
Adara.
We like that
was
recovery
awesome.
right there. Okay, so here we go. Immediately, Microsoft up to the upside, almost took out all-time highs again. Right there, all-time high 421. It's 420.80 is the all-time high for Microsoft. So congratulations if you somehow bought that dip. That didn't even really happen on Microsoft. But here we go, Microsoft trying to go back upside. We'll look at some of these other names that we were looking at earlier, including Tesla.
Yeah, you can forget about Intel.
Right now, we just got SoundHound long at 911.
So about, wow, SoundHound really dipped pretty far there.
Yeah.
Intel is already gone. 43.20 it just hit. So I'm going to cancel my offer in front of the pre-market highs because it's already gone a couple of percentage points to the downside. Rivian is hanging on pretty nicely to 1150. I'm not going to reload unless it's up at the top. Apple's still chilling at 172. So even though it's pulled back, $1 it's pulled back off the open. Maybe we look at that pre-market bottom here. But the market is coming back in. We got to be careful.
So we took some out at SoundHound there at 25. We're long at 11, so that's going to be a banger so far. Let's see if it goes higher. We're going to wait for 875 to break. That's all. Pretty simple trade right there. We do want to get some AMD short. Let's go. Go SoundHound. Let's go. Maybe we can get that going into the upside right now for Sound. It does look like AMD is trying to go as well back up to the upside, so we're watching out for that one. But let's go SoundHound. Man, we just bought SoundHound down here at $9, so let's clip it, send this out, and watch out what happens with SoundHound. Now going up to the upside, we have targets here of $9.50, $9.80, $10, $10.40. Let's see where SoundHound goes. Our out is going to be down here at $8.75, taking a piece out of that one. As you're right, Neil, Apple's starting to go, and here goes Tesla, by the way, right back up to day's
AMD's
high again,
flying.
into 170, and AMD's flying.
AMD's at 195, up $2. NVIDIA is barely even moving right now. So this is an AMD story in Techland, and Intel, it just okay.
Yeah, we are going.
Intel
here.
is like through $43 now. It is absolutely flushing. I got Rivian here that's now breaking pre-market lows. I want to get some out in front of the 40 level. So the one short I'm in is continuing to work to the downside, and the market, everything I look at outside of Rivian and Intel looks like it's strong, yet the market is at lows.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What is going on with AMD here?
All right, so we finally have Tesla here at 170.50. Okay, let's just let's take 50 cents if we can get it. We'll just bid 170, and there it is right there. The party's just starting. I mean, you guys, here's $1. You guys want a dollar club right there. We just talked about that. Let's see what happens now with Tesla. And by the way, SoundHound, it kind of, I mean, this is 56. We're waiting there at 50. Let's see if we get a 50-period moving average right there. Tesla's a different one, man. We'll have to wait. This is not trading the same way it did yesterday, man. So watch out for Tesla. We just took 50 cents, but we are looking for more. We are into AMD short now as well at 195.50. So we'll put the same kind of bid here. If we can get something near 195, we'll take it. But watch out. We wrote down 197 here.
That's
on
the top yesterday.
Yeah, on the sticky note. So let's wait and be very, very specific with what we're doing because we don't need to get blasted out. But look what's happening right now. You want SoundHound in your life. Well, we got it. So there's SoundHound right now. Nice move to the upside. Let's take a 45 if we can get it. And there it goes. Bang for SoundHound. I told you guys, this is how we trade, man. We trade whatever's moving. And right now it's SoundHound, Tesla to the downside. There goes SoundHound breaking through 950. Let's clip this one, guys. This is a big name here for social media. Up to 27 right here. Let's see what happens now. 27 million shares for SoundHound. AMD starting to go to that 97 level.
Not yet. It's just up, down off 96. I just got in for the first time, waited for it to get to that 96 a couple of times patiently here because the market is down, and this is a little bit relatively strong. So if we're going to give it to 97, then we make sure we hold it till that level. Wow, are you kidding me, Apple? All right, we're going to change plan on Apple here. You got to be able to change the plan. We're not going to get that bottom. We got to watch for the higher lows here. 72, 72.5. I'm getting in this one in front of 72.5 on Apple. You're stair-stepping to the upside, and I do not want to miss this ride as Apple looks like it's going to be an absolute rocket ship. Here comes 197 is coming in right now on AMD.
Yes.
The longs I wanted were Google and Apple, and we don't have either one of those two. Apple, we're trying to get on a higher low. Alphabet is now breaking out the tops. Let me just cancel. No dip buy is going to happen here. Let's try to get in at 141. That's around VWAP, not that it matters that early.
Yeah, no, we are. We didn't get enough shares up there, unfortunately, at 197, but our average price is 196. So let's see what happens right now on this as it's coming back down. Darn it. I hope you got some decent shares up there because that was a great call. There it is, man. I can't believe we wrote down 197 and the high was 196.95. But there it is right now for AMD. A nice push back down to the downside. And man, are we rocking with that good stuff here on SoundHound. Clip that because here we go. We are long at $9 down into $10. This is a money-making move right here for SoundHound. And by the way, we wrote down 197 on the sticky note. It's at 195.50 right now with a high of the day of 196.95. So let's get to the downside. Oops, Brittany, we're doing it again. Tesla right now, that's $1 in the money as well. Man, we can clip this whole thing. Tesla $1 in the money, SoundHound 50 cents in the money, AMD 40 cents in the money. That's it, BPI. There we go. We're going to go 3 for 3 to start the day. And this is what trading's all about. Enjoy it here at Trader TV Live. That's a $2 winner right there for AMD. So let's see how low we can go.
Love AMD. Rivian just hit 3% down since the open. And Mara, we keep telling you guys Mara's a short. Mara is now at $18. First available pop. That's the plan of action. I'm getting 195s. I'm taking it and running on AMD. And then I'm shorting the first available pop in Mara. This stock is a dog, down 7% already. I'm going to make the assumption that Coinbase is not having a good day either, down at 240. That's a safe assumption. And as far as AMD goes, it's always the target for me. If a stock is trending upside and I catch the top, give me VWAP. I did the same thing on ARM, and I'm going to do it again here today on AMD. Sometimes it's the right call. Other times you could see it continue to blast down, but I'm going to stick to the plan, Stan. And there is strength in the market. Microsoft, Apple, I haven't seen Meta. Apple's actually about to break out this high, so we didn't get that Apple dip buy. The shorts both worked, but we did want two longs, and they're now breaking tops. And we don't have them yet, but the day is still early and young. Adara.
Dick's Sporting Goods at new highs and picking up volume here after earnings. DKS beat across the board and higher expectations than expected for the EPS and sales going forward for 2024. So nice look here across the board for DKS, up almost 18%, guys.
Tesla's $2 in the money right now, so we'll face slap there. Thank you so much for that one. Tesla right now down and starting to go lower. We've already taken out right now, unfortunately, we've taken out 80% of this name. Great move down. We're just going to watch out for that one. SoundHound, we are out of half of this one, but this one is a banger right here, man. We have $1 on a we don't have $1. We have 90 here. Let's make it easy. We have 90 cents on a $9 name. This is a 10% return right here at the high. And by the way, we talked about Microsoft and what it was going to do today. Look at this. It just took out all-time damn highs. This may now be my largest holding. We'll have to check it out. AMD is starting to get back up to that 197 again. So, hey, we'll re-short it. Good out there. I know Neil had some of those outs down there as well, near 195. Perfectly done as it gets right back up to the upside. Not quite at a shorting level yet, but we will get out at 197 or so if we break. Maybe 197.20, 197.50 is sort of that top right there. But again, AMD's kind of been a difficult one. Worth reloading there a little bit. We just took a little bit more short up there in the 60s.
Yeah, I just reloaded it off the 50 level on the way back. I tried to get some above 80 and didn't, but I got some at 40. 44 was the re-entry on the way back in there, so that's going to be another rinse and repeat. We'll ring the register on that. If it breaks 187, then we just got to get out of it. It looks like Intel's trying to go because the market's catching a bit of a bid. So it's at VWAP. If it gets into like 43.5, 43.40, that's what we'll try to pick it up. But wow. Okay, we got to watch out for AMD here. It might not be a reload the next time. You have NVIDIA almost about to go green here at 905. Oh, but that 900 break looked like it was clean as you know what on NVIDIA. Wow,
Okay,
yeah, that looked pretty clean at 900. If it pulls, if NVIDIA pulls back in and bounces off of $900, I might not want to be in an AMD short much longer. Been pretty good at taking that profit and running, but if we bounce off 900, this thing could absolutely fly. The NASDAQ holding that low now twice off the open, so watch out for those shorts.
Look, I spoke for maybe a minute with Patrick, and I said the same stuff over and over again. Look at this. Tesla short is now $3 in the money. This is what we're looking at today. We're looking at Tesla short and AMD short. We have both of these trades. It's the only two trades we have, plus we have $1 in the money. We have 11% up on SoundHound. Look at Tesla. Like, we wanted the short. Look at Tesla just absolutely crank into this bottom. So, I mean, that's all that we have to do is trade the names that we think have catalysts behind them. We saw yesterday that this was a short. Now let's just bid it out here at the 200 period. If we're lucky enough to get that, let's put 250 in our pocket and just worry about it later. So there it goes. It's a nice move down there for Tesla. And boom, that's what we're talking about. Let's go, man. Pound them alarms, because there it is to the downside, 168 and still going on Tesla. We gone. Clean trade there. Let's see what happens next. Adara?
An update here as well from that Starship flight. Apparently the SpaceX Starship flight has surpassed the length of the first two previous tests, so interesting look there. Also, though, worth looking at these small cap hologram related names. Microcloud Hologram, HOLO, running yet again, bolstered by huge interest in social media over the last few minutes. We're talking like every few seconds. We're seeing some tweets there with regards to HOLO. So lots of online excitement for this name. WIMI Hologram, WIMI, another hologram related name that has run with HOLO in the past and is also running alongside it today. HOLO has a float of under 2 million shares. WIMI has a float of about 10 million shares, guys.
I know what I just did. Okay, maybe that's a keystroke error getting out of Google on a 30-cent bounce. We'll take it. It bounced off you up. Sorry about this chart. It's like the only bad wick that I had this morning, so I think things are getting a little bit better. We wanted that dip buy. We ended up scalping it all out when we went to put a stop order in. I'm going to get back on the bid. I still think this is a relatively strong name. Keep things in the pocket. Oh, my number lock wasn't on. I knew. I'm like, what's going on there? All right, now I can get the order out. Gotta be careful. If you hit that number lock.
How low did Google go there?
141 teens I saw as the bottom. It's gonna be hard to tell, but VWAP is right here at 141 teens as well. So AMD is now holding 196 pretty decently. I just missed a reload, and we're back under 900 on NVIDIA. That's a bit of a good sign. But I just missed a reload. Now it's flying back to the upside.
Yep.
Cancel offer. I want to try to get a short on the way back down each time, not on the way back up if at all possible. Intel, let's check back in on this. I mean, it can't even get to 43.5. It just got to 43.18 and is already pulling back in. So maybe it's the quarters on Intel. If we're going to get short this weak name, if I'm going to be kind to it, then you might have to just short the available opportunity. You're not going to get the price you want when the market decides otherwise. The other name that we want to the south side is Mara. As you can see, Mara wants nowhere near $19. Looks like 18.5 is the jam, but let me just double check. Oh yeah, IBIT is at the lows. So Bitcoin is actually at the lows of the morning, so worth a short back into
72,000.
Always want to make sure, not that it's been following Bitcoin, but I do want to make sure I'm not going completely against the grain if I'm shorting Mara at the lows. This is what IBIT is doing.
All right, so we only have 20% left to SoundHound. So now if it breaks $9, let's just get out because we are done. This was a great trade for us. So we don't normally trade these names, but I'm glad that we looked at it. I want to thank the guys behind us. I want to thank the guys on the chat because I wasn't really, I mean, we look at SoundHound. We talk about it every day. But today we saw the movement in the pre-market. We liked the volume. We found a level that we liked. We're lucky enough to get it. So we took it all out. Most of the outs are right here at 80. You can see we probably have 3 or 4 outs in here, in and around 80. And why was that? Because it was just kind of this past high right there. So that's pretty key for me. And then we came back in, we took VWAP. So in missing the opportunity, to have held on to something like a Tesla that keeps on going to the downside, we now have another dollar right now here on AMD. And we're starting to cash some of that out. As we notice, we just dipped right into this level one more time. So let's put a bid out there. Now let's see if we can hold. We talked about what kind of markets these are, right? These are markets where you can hold for big wins. I'm going to try it here. We only have like less than 20% of this, but we're on this name right now, AMD. Let's see if it cranks. If we get the 200 period, then that'd be good for us, man. 194? I mean, let's see if we get that. Let's put a bid at 194.65 or something like that, and wait to see. Here it comes in right now. Good trade for sure on AMD. And by the way, guys, the number one, well, not the number one, but a trade idea was right here. 197 short. So we have that. The high of the day is 196.95. I mean, we're short right now, 196.64. I feel like we could have got better, but we didn't. So that's the price that we have. Let's see if it goes down right now. It's another good day here.
And just got Mar for the first time. AMD's looking fantastic. Rivian is continuing to basically chill at the lows. I'm looking for another breakdown and then down to $11. Maybe we can get a short back in on VWAP. We're sitting in this one in pre-market. We sat in this one yesterday in the afternoon, 2 days ago in the afternoon. We sat in this one all afternoon short, and it's finally starting to roll over. Mara has been, I mean, I don't know what you guys can see what's happening to Mara. I'm shorting back into 1850. Want to see how far this can go down. BTC's trying to catch a bid off of 41. Oh yeah, Coinbase is also making a nice bounce here. So Mara's been weaker than Coin. Coin coming into VWAP if you're watching that. My next target on AMD is 194 for me. We took the 195 last time. Now the pre-market breakout price is my next target. I don't want this getting back to VWAP without me taking profit. So we shorted the pops in the right names. Maybe we can, no, we're not getting Intel. I'm now out of AMD again. I like to try to take the targets first time into VWAP. When it broke down the second time, I'm taking it into the next level, which is 194. So I'm ringing the register and moving on to the next. But what an absolute flush job that Intel is. I'm stinking. I can't defend it this time, Sharif, because down 1%, and it's trying to make some kind of a bid here. I only want to be short this name, if at all possible. So I'm going to have to just sit on the offer at VWAP and try to wait for the next setup. All you can do is trade the next setup. If you were sitting in Intel at the open, you're obviously laughing, but that wasn't exactly the plan of action. Just got an 1807 fill on Mara. This is going to be SSR if it breaks 1890, I think. So watch out. When it goes 10% down, you got to watch out for a relief rally.
Guys, we had a great day yesterday. We are infinitely up more than we were yesterday at this point right now, and it's because of AMD and Tesla, by the way. I mean, Tesla would only be right now a $3 winner, but we did take it out right there at 168 for $2.50, but still trying to go there is this name. So, yeah, just kind of saying, stick with what you do and do it the best you possibly can. So. We've been shorting AMD yesterday. We both, Neil, both of us are short. We're short. We talked about why we like that level. We hit it, and we're in it. So that's, to me, this is what we want to be doing every single day. SoundHound. Believe it or not, I made just as much money on SoundHound, almost to the penny, as we did on Tesla. So let's slap our face on that one as we get out at $9. So we take an 11-cent hit. I think we got $8.97. So we'll take a 14-cent hit on 20%, and then just enjoy the rest of that move to the upside right there. So this is what we talk about when you're looking at names. Don't get caught like waiting for something to happen. Be aggressive when certain levels are hit. And again, you guys trade it more than I do, but we did really well on this name to get out of it. So I feel like pretty confident on that one. A little disappointed in my reaction to Tesla. Got out of just too many shares there at VWAP, honestly, which only left me with 20%. There goes Tesla to the downside. But you know what, man? We've got a 1, a 2, and an almost $3 winner here in AMD. So let's see how far we can go in, man. You're right down to the 200 period. Next guess, 193. Next guess after that, pre-market low break for advanced micro devices.
And we said be patient. ARM got to 135 just because IPO lockup expiry happened doesn't mean you're going to short every single level. I'm trying to get this at the half. I want it in front of 135. It did the curl. I try to get it on the way back down and not the way up. Keep it in the pocket. Mara's starting to come back in. I'm going to reload that. If I get ARM, you'll see it pop in, and my out's going to be at above 135. Mara's starting to come right back into those 20s and 30s. I'm going to try and reload this. If we get an 18 break, this could absolutely crater. NVIDIA is now at $885 and about to flat bottom break this. This is yesterday's low, 884 and change. If it breaks 884, that could actually be a hammer bottom. Flat bottom break on NVIDIA this early? We'll see. Got to get the order. That was $1.50 right away. You're not getting that, Phil.
Wow. We are $3 plus now in the money here on AMD off of this guy. So big day happening. So again, we talked about having a couple big days recently, and you know, some red days obviously in there as well. And just today, really starting to cash out again, man. That's 173.65 right there. I can't feel any better about that than I do. So let's go over to Palantir now. This was another long that we talked about down here at 24.50. We wrote down 24.50 on the sticky note here as a possible long area for Palantir. The market, though, is under that 18.3. Maybe it is worth a shot all the way down here on Palantir. Let's give it a go and see. We'd be upset if we didn't try it. So here we go. We are trying it right now as it breaks lower. So that's fine. We don't expect to be in and then be out immediately. Let's just wait to see. Here it comes in. So we wanted to start the trade at 24.50. We have 24.35 as a possible bottom here for Palantir. So let's play off this a little bit and see what happens now for PLTR.
880? Are you kidding me? 880 just broke?
Clean. Oh, that was yesterday.
Like, I was just trying to get an 884 break and couldn't get filled. And this is now 877. Where is that bottom the other day? Well, not till $860 on NVIDIA. It's already nasty. Hang on to your shorts if you got them at this particular point.
Oh, yeah,
like,
we do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only short right now. And the only long I had actually scalped out of it. It was probably a good, happy accident, let's call it, on Google to have scalped out of it accidentally for 30 cents. Apple's still holding that 172. I'm going to let it get to that pre-market low before even thinking about hitting the buy key. And I got to see it bounce first. Google, I'm going to cancel this order at VWAP. Let's see it actually bounce first and then worry about it. If the market's coming down here, and which it is pretty precipitously, the NASDAQ continuing to crater, I'm not going to be sitting on bids. It's not the time to be sitting on bids.
No, I'm actually
well, you can take profits.
Pretty much in agreement with you on that one. But we are now, guys, Quattro +1, 5 in the money. Wow, it was almost. Now it's 450 in the money here. As there, look at AMD. Again, we wrote down, if you're not part of Sticky Note Nation, then you need to be a member right now. S&P futures continuing to fall. Randy turned this guy into a bull, by the way. We were uncertain of what we wanted today. We had talked about that. The PPI came out, and we sort of had flashes of. I still can't believe we dumped Tesla, but that's okay. We have AMD, and AMD is the one. So I don't remember we talked about coming into 191. Like, honestly, I wish I'd believed it myself. Huge downside move here for this name, and that, of course, the name of AMD still making that move. We are waiting out for a drop. If this drops out, we're out. Right, so if Palantir drops below this level that we just talked about, 35, we're gone. So let's take a shot in the dark here on Palantir for the long. It's just been beat up here. It's down 2 and a bit. These names, it's like a tale of two stories here, because if the market gets weak, they're going to sell some of these high-flying tech names. That's for sure. You know, but if the market rebounds, then we've seen what kind of a move some of these names can have. So we're getting close now to losing our way here on Palantir. So, but guess what? AMD is still cranking.
How is this not halted?
You brought a good point up about NVIDIA. What is that?
How is
SoundHound. Good thing we got the heck out of that one, eh?
I'm trying to figure out why it hasn't halted, but NVIDIA is absolutely getting crushed. Remember, 860, just hold on to your shorts. Mara just broke $18. That had my attention, but NVIDIA just hit 875 and is making a pretty decent bounce here. So if NVIDIA is going to catch a bid, I'd rather short a pop on Intel. I think if it does make a move to the upside, I'm going to look for something in the, if maybe we get 75, 80, something in there. But Mara is now really starting to crank. Level down, you can only take the short that's available. 17 even on the daily chart stands out here for Mara. So I think there could be a couple of levels. It's almost that SSR play. Once it hits 10%, I'm putting an immediate trail. I'm not going long on an SSR bounce, but I am going to try to get out if it goes that 10% and tries to bounce. I didn't see SOUN halt at any point in that pullback, so I mean, I guess it must have bounced off the bands or whatever's going on, but that's why you got to have an out on these small cap names, as we're still flying to said downside. The market is continuing to churn, so it's not a place, I think, to get early bounces. I said I'd wait for 172 on Apple. Apple bounced at 172.30. Apple's back above VWAP. So I think Apple is still relatively strong compared to the market. If it holds VWAP, this one looks like it can be along at some point. Let's go to Adara.
Another small cap to keep an eye on here, multiple halter Aptorum, APM. This one, as you can see here on the daily chart, we have run before. Not seeing any news on this. Mild amount of social media discussion, but they do have a 2.5 million share float, so that could be the main story here with APM up almost 80% now, guys.
All right, so we'll take an L on that one. But wow, I'm still, our net is actually going up as we're taking L's on Palantir. But AMD just continues to go down, breaking now through 191 is a possibility. There's Palantir. We talked about that last level break there, so we will take a bath on PLTR right now because it did make that move to the downside. So that is fine. We took a shot there, and this is the one thing that I'm learning more and more. I'm just still watching AMD as it's trying to break through 191. Is that the more that you watch some of these names, the more you have to take shots on them, right? So like yesterday, if I don't take Palantir at certain levels and you don't have the opportunity to win with it, so we're putting our money in and you can't always, Neil made the best comment there when he said like there's no bids right now. So probably stop averaging in, which we've done, and respect the levels that we had marked down. So like once it breaks, you get out, and then now we're just holding. And unfortunately, I only have 10% of this AMD trade, which is pretty much my MO all the time, which I'm trying to fix. But that's a good move to the downside. And Palantir, if it bounces, and we can look at it. But this is a level, again, that we don't want to just keep on averaging into. It broke, it's down, and we just got a nice little wick bottom there at 25. So potentially now, I'm going to try to bid down here against that 25. So now that we've seen that, let's just try to get some 33s now. We'll get it. And then if we break below now, this 24, 25 area, then we can once again call it quits on Palantir. So I feel like this is how I want to play these dramatic moves. I still like the name long. We put the work in. We like this 24.50 area, but again, a little too aggressive on buying those early on.
Oh, thank you, Sharif. That's really sweet. An apple fritter. Well, you know what? I didn't even open the bag. I just know it's an apple fritter. I can sense it. Literally. Did you not get you anything?
All good, Sharif. All good, my guy.
You want a bite of it?
No. We'll remember this stuff. Like I thought we were all friends around here.
By the way,
you know what I mean?
VWAP, Google, bouncing now. I'm not going to eat the fritter in front of you guys. Actually, that's not true. I am going to do my best to eat it in front of you, but just when I'm not trying to talk. So, again, thank you, Sharif. But there's Google off of VWAP. This wick just seems to always want to come back. This bottom here is 141 teens. I just got VWAP at 35. The high of the day is about 141.80, so I want the long into 80 as we're going to Adara. Well, I just trailed out of Amara, so that bounced as well.
Yeah, watch out here.
Keep an eye on Altria, MO, currently halted for news. The news that we did get the news, but earlier, just to contextualize this, yesterday, we find out that Altria intends to sell a portion of its investment in Anheuser-Busch InBev through a global secondary offering comprised of a public offering. They also agreed to repurchase, or ABI agreed to repurchase $200 million of ordinary shares directly from Altria. Now, Altria coming out and saying that they're going to significantly enhance cash returns to shareholders through the repurchase program stemming from that ABI sale, and they'll also raise their 2024 full year guidance. So keep an eye on this one, currently halted, but some news coming out there, guys.
All right. Just what we've been talking about here. By the way, good call on SoundHound. It did bounce off that $8 mark. I mean, it went all the way down there. Some crazy movements, and then finally you get a green candle and a nice little bounce back on that. So we're not going to be green on Palantir unless this thing gets back to like 60s or 70s, because again, we didn't take as many shares the next time around. That we did that first time. So yeah, we'll have to wait on this one and see what happens right now with Palantir. But I am starting to get it out because we did our plan. And now we're 14 cents in the money, so let's offer some here at 47s or 48s. And then if we can get back into the 50s, we'll be pretty happy with that trade. So we just offered 47s, and of course it misses us. But let's see if we can get that back now. Nice upside move for Palantir. We will try to stick to the story here, and that is to go short, especially a name like AMD. But pack your patience these days, man. I mean, we can't keep saying that over. Well, we can because we keep doing it, but just wait. Like, I didn't think 197 was coming in, to be honest with you. We talked about that off the open. It just ripped right into 197. And then boom, downside from there. So be patient. Maybe we get that bump one more time. For some reason, I'm not getting Palantir up there at 47. So I'm just going to offer a 45 and see if we can get that as well.
I was so close to finishing that
Oh,
fight.
no, I should have looked over.
The timing was like almost perfect on that one.
My bad.
So I just got, another wick?
Another
Okay,
one?
so another bounce there in Alphabet. It just got up into the low 50s, so I took some out. I'm going to reload this in the 20s. The market is, maybe I don't even want to reload that. The market's still bleeding. We still have the Rivian short, and I'm looking for a replay in MAR in just a second. But you're now making a bit of a bottoming motion here on Rivian. I want 11s, but I'm going to trail it here and try and reshort VWAP if we can. And then Mara ended up being a decent out at 18. We'll see if we can get this one back at 18.50. I probably have crumbs on my chin. I'm eating a fritter live. What do you want me to do? There you go. I look fine now.
Yeah, Sharif.
What? I mean, I'm not going to eat it every single time. So if we get to VWAP, I want to reload Mara because BTC is still working to the downside. IBIT has wicked 41 twice.
Oh, 71.
If it fails it for good, and we test that 70, did we hit 70? I don't think we did. But if we fail it for good, I think you want to stay short the weaker of those names. Back to it, Era.
Just got out a few more numbers. We did have lots of economic data coming out earlier today. Right now, we have business inventories month over month flat. So 0% versus the consensus of 0.2%, forecast of 0.3%. Retail inventories ex autos coming exactly in line here with expectations. So 0.3% versus the consensus and forecast of 0.3%. SPY pulling down a little bit further on this, but we've generally been going lower this whole morning. We did get some of that PPI data coming higher than expected, and overall that economic data not really helping out with regards to the SPY's direction that we've had so far today. Also worth noting, lots going on in this market, lots going on in general today. We do have the SpaceX Starship launch, the third flight test, so interesting look overall for these markets, and also some individual names to keep an eye on. Robinhood Markets, HOOD. This one a little bit lower, but still up over 6% after reporting nice increases in their February trading volumes as a whole. Also, Alibaba trying to curl up here, but still down about 2.5% after the European Commission said it's going to be investigating AliExpress for illegal dissemination of illegal materials. So interesting look for a lot of these individual names in the market, guys.
All right, well, it's a good thing that we switched up our opinion there on Palantir and took a 45 out, because now with this market taking, it is exactly doing that. Guys, by the way, we're now $6 in the money now on AMD, so it just hit 190 right there. I feel like that's probably good enough. I'm going to should we even put a bid? Is this the day that we're all waiting for? I mean, maybe it is. Here goes Palantir right back up. I'm going to offer 40s. Oh, I already did. Okay, cancel that. I was already at 40. Okay, so we'll see if that comes back up to the upside there. I'm just going to honestly rest on this. I mean, if AMD keeps doing what I think it wants to do here, then we all good. Just hearing in my ear more negative news possibly about Boeing, but it's not moving. Just European FAA version, I don't know what that would be, coming in and not speaking positively either about Boeing right now. But the market's going down, and I don't feel like this is really doing anything. It's actually up 0.5, or well, it's flat, and the market is quite negative right now, making moves down in. So if we did want to buy some Apple, it would be on any dips, but for right now, I'm kind of not looking at it. Just
market's a little heavy for a dip buy.
Exactly, like perfect, exactly. So right there. So we'll wait. Google might be a dip buy down here at the 200 period, because I did kind of like the long
Apple
there.
and Google are the only ones that I'm even thinking about long right now, but we're just thinking about it. This is not a real wick on Rivian here. The low is actually, I see a low of 11s right now. So if it holds on to $11 or this local bottom, I'm getting out on the next available pop. You're getting a bit of a pop in the market. Oh, I just got back into MAR. That could be some interesting timing on MAR in front of that 18.25. Affirm was a flat bottom break. Well, the firm's down 9%. I think we can. Let's forget about that one for a second. I'm not shorting bottoms on these moves either. I think you could be getting a little bit of a bounce here. So I'm out if we break 115, 1115, I should say, on Rivian. Rolled that one to the downside. Mara, I mean, obviously, in my note, I was like flat bottom break at 1925. At that moment at the open, it failed 1925, but all you can do is take the next trade. It gave you a chance, and it popped into 1840, and then hit 1775. I'm back in it to VWAP, and then we'll see where it can go. But the market is making a decent bounce now. It's looking a little better to try to look for some bids. Google's at 140.80. That's not bad. Give it to the 50s. What's Apple saying? Apple might be better. Apple's at VWAP. Apple's a little bit better, it looks like, because like you have a low here, 172.25. So I think picking something up might make some sense if we get in front of that. But I need to see it bounce higher low, and we can be a little bit patient with it. Intel, maybe we can short a pop in. That's not at VWAP yet. That'll be 42.90, it looks like. So short in front of 43 on the way back up for Intel.
All right.
It was delicious, by the way.
Oh, good. Yeah. I was just giving Sharif a hard time and there, but
Now I have
yeah,
sugar
thanks
all
for the
over my
consideration.
hand,
All right, so we took Google long there at 89. I punched long. You guys saw me punch long. So we just got some out at 02s. Now we're starting to go higher on Google, and I mean, this is the kind of world that we're living in right now. You know, we're punching long, stocks are going up. We're punching short, stocks are going down. Like, I don't know. It seems bizarro world because, as I said, trading is not supposed to be like this, but right there, we'll go Palantir's trying to make a move back up to the upside. This one will be an L. We talked about that. Tesla's just a monster today. I wish we had held that. You know, I wish. SoundHound was amazing. It's still my number one P&L stock is by far AMD, but SoundHound is right there as a number 2 at level. And then we'll see what can happen here with Google. So I am buying, let's talk about this trade quickly. I'm buying Google down here against some of these levels, but if we break basically below this 60 area here, then we're gonna get out. It's even a little bit more aggressive than that. So, you know, breaking back into the 70s and we will reassess said trade. But we've just already taken out 20% of this Google trade, 40% of this Google trade as we make that move into the 50-period moving average from the 200. So every time that's an out and another out has to be up here near VWAP, and then if we're lucky enough to get a complete market bounce, then maybe we get back to these highs. So using terminology like lucky and things like that because, you know, the market does have to move for you, and if it does, then you want to be on the right side of it. So we'll watch out for that. I still do have quite a large winner here on AMD, but we have given back about $1.50 now from that bottom of 190.50. So I'm thinking that we could. It's not going to be like that much money if we throw it back, but I'm wondering about like just a 193 out there, which would suck. We give back that $1.50 to the bottom, but that could be a level that we look at for concern. So the reason why I'm not getting out of AMD immediately is that if the market tanks in, then I will get filled on Google, and then I'm going to have some kind of a hedge at least on some of those trades. So let's wait to see what happens here. But right now we're doing this on Google, we're doing it on AMD, and we've got Palantir to the long side, which is now back into a dime piece. So we'll put an offer there. There we go. We get the 43s. Now we'll wait for that 47 that we waited for, and then hopefully be able to catch a little bit back on the other side of this trade. That's Palantir.
So higher low on Apple, just got me into the long. So we found some longs. I mean, the market's trying to do a little bit of a dance here. Like the fact that it's putting in higher lows into the top. It's relatively strong, all that good stuff. Rivian is very close to either hitting $11 or trailing me out at 15s. We're into Intel, but Mara is also pressing VWAP. So we reloaded Mara. If it cannot hold this lower high, I'm going to jump out and then look for the next trade. And it's a similar story with Intel. We shorted the first available pop. If it can't hold on to VWAP, then we're just going to get out. I mean, there's so much. What's crazy, that move down was a chip move because we're talking, I'm in Apple, Microsoft bounced off to 50 and is back at the highs. So like that was, you know, that's the one. There's no question about it.
Microsoft.
So shout out to Hog Rider in the chat.
What up,
because
Hog?
you called the right one. Microsoft is the one that you should be dip buying clearly on that last move. But you know, I picked Apple because that's what I was watching. I said Apple and Google were the two I was watching, and there's only two longs that I've had. I had this long in Google, which is kind of tough to see. I VWAP twice and then got out when it broke VWAP, but now I'm over to Apple. That one's about 20 cents in the money. I wanted to push it a little bit further, and we'll get our first out. ARM never ended up getting that fill. but we'll try to play it again off that 135. So far, so good this morning, and we got a little bit of a bid here. Apple's starting to go.
We knocking this market out, boys. Right now, nice move back up to the upside here for Google. That's a 20-cent winner. But you know what? This couldn't come at a better time because I don't know if you guys can see this. This is my wife. I guess it doesn't matter if I do that. What if I do control this? No, it won't matter. Okay, so she's in a parking lot right now at hockey with my daughter. She sees this Rivian, this R1, this is an R1T, and this is the message I get. Sean, I am so in love. All right, well, that's cool. All right, so there's the R1T. I guess that will soon be a check mark in our life right now. So she likes it, and here's the note. She is so in love. You know,
down 5%,
I mean, I'm really glad that she tells me she loves me every day because otherwise I'd have some sort of a complex here. But there is your R1T love. And I told you that, you know, from the jump. This is about being honest. Wow, okay, there's size here. I told you that I was going to have to get a Rivian one day, and there's the proof right there. So, all right, nice move to the downside right now for Rivian. Breaking down here, maybe if we got some puts on this stock up at 13, that dream of my wife's would be coming true just a little bit quicker. But right now, Rivian is starting to fall down. Hey, man, take the shot at $11. Maybe we should do that. Palantir, bang! This is what we talk about, man. We're good right now, guys. Palantir, 20 cents. Look at Google. Boom, right now for Google, all the way back up to VWAP. We reloaded that at the we took it at the 200 period. Now an upside move, man. Today is another one of them days. Let's go back to the desk.
Big move up here on strong volume. Just about previous candle here for CCTG. The company is CCSC. And this one, not seeing any news on why this one's trading higher, but lots of social media interest. It does have a float of 2.3 million shares. So nice look here for CCTG. Just keep an eye on that one with regards to that volume.
And the market tries to go up, and then it comes right back down. So I got Mara at a reload. It doesn't get to VWAP. We'll take some out in front of 18. I want to respect the fact that this wicked. It did get to, by my math, it got to SSR.
Ooh la la.
So the stock is now short sell restricted.
Randy.
Thank you, Randy. It's
right,
perfect
cheers.
because it's the red and the market's red. When you cheers, it's actually bad luck not to take a sip. Let me just turn my heater back on, so make sure that stays hot. So you are SSR in Mara right now. So if it holds a double bottom, I'm taking profit out in front of it. It's short sell restricted because it's already been 10% to the downside and continuing to go. It bounced off of, I want to say it got pretty much exactly to SSR, but if my math is wrong, I apologize. High of the day is going to be the out for me on Apple, and we're going to try and reload off of VWAP every chance we get. So Mara's relatively weak. Rivian's still absolutely chilling at the bottoms. I got to trail at 11.15 here because you're showing a consolidation as the market's starting to fly back into the upside. But if we break that, then I'm jumping out of that trade. Mara's holding 18 again, so I'm just going to get some more shares out in front of 18. We got 18 short, so I should be bidding in front of 18 even. Like I said, it's SSR, so it's a different story from earlier this short.
All right, guys. I mean, we haven't hit this in a couple days, but
Another one.
it's another one.
Another one.
I mean, this is 80 cents in the money right now with Google. I mean, what are we even doing here? I mean, this is like, there it is, boom, boom, right there. Look what we've done today so far, guys. Tesla, short, 170.50, goes down to 165. Big time banger right there, man. Hit the sirens for that one. Google today, I mean, whatever, we just talked about it. Nice trade right there. We sort of talked about Palantir, right? We said we'd wait for this sort of a wick bottom. We took the L on Palantir. We talked about that. We waited for the wick bottom. We doubled up down at the bottom again, and boom goes the dynamite to that side of things. The stock that I'm still up on and up pretty good on, same as Tesla, would be SoundHound. And right now, SoundHound is starting to make that move again, but it's a good name for us. So we like that one here. SoundHound making the moves back to the upside and all the way to the downside. And then that's it, man. And then the other name was Tesla. So, so far, so good here today as we continue to watch out where this market's coming from. So good day. Market now trying to bounce back. I mean, we had that PPI number, pretty good number there, but hotter than expected. Sends the market reeling a little bit. Obviously, as we open up, we get the big move down. Here's the PPI number, kind of based out until we took that bottom. Now I think we go short, but we got to wait till we get back up to this area here, kind of VWAP-y, as we talked about 18,300. Oh yeah, by the way, in our sticky note, we also talked about 18,300. So glad that that kind of came in as well. All right, man, here we go. Palantir mooning all the way up to 62 again. So we will just punch that out right there, get some out there on Palantir. And again, man, $1 in the money now on Google. AMD's made its way back, but honestly, we should have got out down there. We know that. Instead, we flip longs on Palantir and Google, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So let's just keep on watching these names. And yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. There goes Palantir. Again, take it out at the 50-period moving average, guys.
I just took Apple out. It is yesterday's top where everything flushed on Apple that I'm ringing register on. Nice. Right here, 173.50. It just wicked that high at 45s and then came back underneath 40. So that's the out for me. It wasn't VWAP. It was a pre-market high that ended up holding at 72.5. Intel looks like it's going to take out that 43 level. Just quickly to show you on Apple, let me finish this thought. If it breaks out from there, there's still room to 174. Remember, 174 was a brick wall 2 days ago. So there is still room to bigger resistance, but here comes that 43 on Intel. If it takes 43, I'm out and waiting until 43.5. Got to short it at a different level. Mara's still looking okay, but since it went SSR, this 18 bounce has been pretty, like 18's starting to hold. If it holds it one more time, I don't reload this trade. So if it holds a higher low, because I think it got short sale restricted, I don't want to make another reload of Mara as long as it holds that bottom. So I just got out of Intel. We'll take our first hit of the day. It was short a relatively weak name, so we're okay with it. And Rivian, I'm just going to keep moving the trail. It's at $11 now. I'll let it try to break 11, probably give it to 11.10, and then see how far this one can fall. Down 6%. Remember, Fisker is exploring options for bankruptcy.
ARM is ripping.
Let's go to ARM's ripping. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, that Altria story again, in case anyone missed it here. So basically, they were halted on, or news pending, they're still halted, but basically announcing, following their announcement yesterday, they're going to be selling a portion of their investment in ABI, so Anheuser-Busch InBev. They've now said they're going to significantly enhance their cash returns to shareholders through this expanded share repurchase program, and they've announced after that a $2.4 billion increase to their existing $1 billion share repurchase program. So adding more than 100% to that program. This is in connection with the offering of that ABI stock. They've also raised their forward guidance for the 2024, including their EPS guidance. So that basically expanding that range to be a little bit higher than the earlier $5.05 expected. So just some news here, mostly share repurchase and guidance increases there for MO on that news halt, guys.
All right, we are, so we had a nice little move upside on ARM. I have no idea what this is all about. Maybe if you can look for that, but it is starting to move pretty good right now. We just took more short up here, so we got to get something out on AMD because we shorted this name. So again, this is a monster right now on that short into 194 for us, for ARM. For AMD, let's go, man. We're bringing the damn pain right now again on AMD. Wow, guys. Okay, I apologize, but that was a good trade right there again for us on AMD as we reshorted up there. So good trade there. Let's see now what happens with AMD. Wow, we are getting elevated right now. I apologize, but that we just shorted that like crazy at 194 on AMD. But nice move to the downside right now as we're going to capture $1 on this reload.
Yeah, everything's a good reload. Going to show you where the futures just did a little dipsy-do. They tried, it was a huge rally, but right at yesterday's lows is where we turned. So the reload on Mark just got back down to 1780. If it reclaims, I'm going to try to hold on to this because we just keep on flushing. Rivian has now touched and broken $11. So it got down to $10.95. So it's short. It's not short sell restricted, but a hold of $11 is probably going to get me out of that bad boy. If it gets to like 03s, 04s, I'll just punch out of this thing and be happy that the morning has gone this way. Apple is starting to pull back into the downside. Oh, never mind. Apple was pulling back in the last I looked at it, but now it's actually getting back toward the high. Apple's breaking it out. So we had the right one that's strong. I'm buying VWAP. If we get this back to VWAP, we're buying that one for sure. We'll let you guys know if Ultra decides it's going to open back up. But I have that halt page open. It'll tell you when there's going to be a quote, and then you have a couple of minutes, and then the stock is, or 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes when the stock is going to open back up. So it won't open up out of nowhere. We'll know in advance for sure. But we're right at that 11 level. I'm just going to put the trail at 11.05. Give it a little bit more room here on Rivian to continue to bleed, partly because the market's rolling back over. I'd probably take another shot at Intel. Let me just look at the levels here in Rivian. Yeah, 1076. 1076. If it gets, or 75. If it gets down there, I'll get out of it with a trail at 11.05. And for Intel, I said I'd wait until 43.5. I might not wait that long. I might go off of yesterday's close if it pops even a little further. That's 43.25. That looks pretty decent as well. So a little bit higher, and I probably reshort this one as well.
All right, guys. Man, what a day is about all for right now. I'm hearing, so shares are resumed now on MO. So there it is right now. It just hit us on here. And if you guys are wondering what Neil and I are looking at, as well as Adara with other things, but it's the Benzinga Pro platform right here. And here it is. I just saw it show up. So there it is. Opened up now, MO to nothing. So yeah, if you're in MO and you were worried about the halt, well, congratulations. You don't have to worry anymore because nothing's happening on that one. AMD, again, we did cover a lot of that down there. Like that really blew up for us. And then we were able to get out. So our stop on this was 194 right now. So actually, my stop order did not go out. Wow, that's good that that didn't rip up there because we had another pending stop order. Oh, man. Clean up all your pending orders because in our system, you can't have two stop orders. Like I can't stop out. My first stop was 197 or 197.50 on this take right here. And then my next stop, I put out 194.20 or something, and it didn't go out because it thought I had this stop. So it doesn't know because I'm telling it to get out of I'm not telling it to get out a specific amount of shares because I don't know how many I'm going to have. I tell it to get out of 100%, 50%, 75%. So when I have 100, it can't put another 100 out there. So that's what happened to me right there, but that's a good one. So again, a stop of about 40 cents probably, creating this downside right now of 80. So we'll start taking it out 2-to-1 like we said. I want to hold AMD, though, because we've seen it collapse. Let's just check out NVIDIA real quick right now, and then we'll go back over and find some more trades. So NVIDIA does fail off VWAP, same way, basically, as AMD. So if NVIDIA continues to fall down like it's doing, I know, here we go. We're going to have another banger here on this name again. Wow. AMD, another dollar in the money right now on that as it breaks through 192. But now starting to head back up. Watch NVIDIA and listen to Adara.
IWM feeling that move down in the market a little bit more so than the NASDAQ or the SPY. We're now down about more than 1.5% for the IWM here in pretty strong volume. So a bit of a weak look for the Russell 2000 so far, but a bit of a strong look for some of these small cap runners today, including APM. This is Aptorum. This one has halted multiple times. Not seeing any news stories on this, but it has halted, or it has ran before it. It is also worth knowing they have a float of about 2.5 million shares, so pretty small float on APM. We also have Valco Energy. EGY is the ticker for this one. This one up about 26% after posting an earnings beat. So nice look here for EGY. Last but not least, Veritone, VERI. This one continuing to the upside with really strong volume. They posted earnings on Tuesday after close. This could be a day 2 earnings play, but it is worth noting they have a short float of about 14.4%. VERI to the upside, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. Something is setting up here on NVIDIA. I've only, in the last 4 days, I've taken the same trade, essentially. When it shows you higher lows into a flat resistance top, I've been punching long on a break. So this is the pre-market lows at 890. Then you had the initial wick back up here. This is an 890 top, okay, 889 change. And then just now at VWAP, it pulled back in front of 890. You got higher lows going into it, so this has been the play. I know the market's weak, but a setup is a setup, and the last couple times the market was weak going into this as well. So if it breaks 890, I'm going to take a breakout long on NVIDIA. It has to get there. I mean, obviously the market could flush, and NVIDIA could be at 860, and it means I never go long. Just to make that clear, it's got to make a breakout trade, or I'm not doing it. We got out of Apple when it rejected, this is not the high, yesterday's high.
Oh my God.
And it's continuing to go. So it looks like it wants that 174. I'm going to get back on the dip if we get that chance. Rivian's still falling, apparently. Bitcoin is recovering, so I'm not going to reload Mara a fourth time. I'm just going to hold the shares we have. If we take a hit on the last little bit, fair enough. But I am not reloading this unless I see a little bit of a curl in BTC. It's already down like 8% and was down 10% at one point. What else we got that's going? You guys let me know. Oh, Microsoft I know is moving, but Apple's one I'm watching, and I know Sean is in Alphabet, but Microsoft is also relatively strong.
Yeah, and I just want to say, yeah, shout out to Kevin Mendoza here, who says, we love the banger trades. Well, hey, guys, we love that you guys are subscribing, so props up to that, and thank you for continuously watching us every single day, man. The banger trades are what they are. I can't predict them. All we can do is plan for them. And that's what we did today. Whether or not you had this, I will look. What's up, T-Money? Yesterday I typed in T into the chat. But right there, look at this Tesla banger right there, 170.50, guys. The same trade that we talked about in the pre-market came in, and now you're down to 166, $5 there. All right, we are ready to go here because we're taking off one more time for AMD, but this time to the upside, Sharif. It's starting to go. Watch out for 194, but we didn't watch out for crap right there. We put this back into the gates of hell and reloaded it. I mean, what else can we do? We just talked about 194. We took it now 3 times up there to the upside. My stop is the same. It's like a 30-cent stop for now another 50-cent winner. So we'll start to put this out, man. Wow, we are having our best day in a hell of a long time, and we were celebrating this yesterday. But, you know, good day so far here today. I don't know what else to say, man. Google, look, I mean, what? For those of you that are like, man, this joker always goes short. We're $1.30 in the money long right now for Google. Sure, we destroyed the short recently, man. We're also 40 cents in the money long on Palantir. But yeah, we're going to pick on the weak. This is not real life. This is the stock market. AMD's been weak. We've identified this trend. So yeah, I don't feel bad about continuously doing the same stuff over and over again because you know what? We got a family. No, I'm just joking. We're not going to get like that. But we're going to keep trading the same way, guys. And this is what we talk about when you guys are going to be looking to do day trading as a living. It's you got to be confident and you got to know the levels that you're looking at and stick with them because some days are going to be disastrous days. It's just when they're good is when you need to start banking. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to take advantage of some of these moves. And that's what I've been doing with names like Solana, although this one just keeps on ripping to the upside. Congratulations, everybody that's had patience. But hey, we've done pretty good, man, honestly, on Solana. The reason why I took out 8% of what I had on this name was because, A, everything was staked. And it's just, I took them off. We've seen a huge run in a name like Solana. This is making NVIDIA look like peanuts, guys, honestly. Yo, what's up? Right there. Don't ever do that again and scare our audience away. But no, just Solana from the very bottom has been spicy. I think it and NVIDIA have both doubled from the beginning of the year. So there it goes, man. I feel like silly not taking something out there on Solana. But that was my recent. I haven't sold any Ethereum. We haven't sold any Bitcoin in a long time. We actually bought IBIT down there at 34.30. If you guys remember that. And then my other big one, we do like Cardano. So we're watching out for that. And we've talked about that a couple times here on the show. And by the way, Google is now $2 in the money. Like what? This has just been quite a day, man, here for some of these equities, especially if you were following, like right here on the sticky note, Tesla short, Google long, AMD short, Apple long. I feel like if I look back at all those, they would probably have worked, but definitely Google, as it's just going. We still got 20% until it's gone.
They're all gone. And this might be gone in a literal sense in days and weeks, and that'd be Fisker. Oh. We like if the trend is going in one way, then I like shorting VWAP. So you had a wicked VWAP here at 17. It goes to 17.30, 17 cents, 0.3. I'm just going to say 17.30. You guys know it's not. You know I don't mean $17.30 with Fisker. It then turned exactly at 17 with an iceberg order. So I shorted. My price is 16.94, not 17 even, but this rounds all the time. So I'm going to get some out in front of 16. I'm going to get some out in front of 15. Rivian is now at $10.90. So Rivian just continues to completely flush. This has been pretty nasty. Fisker is nasty. Rivian is also nasty. This is now pretty much at the next target, which I'm getting out in front of 75. So if it gets down there, I'm just going to put the bid actually at 81. It was a good support level. It was a higher low after this big volume day. It put in a higher low there. So Rivian was a flush. The last couple of days we've been sitting in Rivian shorts. It's a dumpster fire. But remember, Fisker could be going under. Lucid, we were talking about a potential flat bottom break, maybe in the days and weeks. Maybe today it goes to $2.50. That is the fresh low. So this is now 13. Lucid is now 15 cents away from a flat bottom level at $2.50. The shorts have been paying. This is one of those mornings where all you had to do is stick to your plan and you're going to bank. So we're happy to have done it. But there's some things that are opening up that we didn't see coming. One of those would be a flat bottom break on Lucid. ARM was, I'm not going to say it was a miss. It did a pullback into VWAP again, but that's not at a price I was looking to short it, so we don't have to force the action. Mara is still sort of hanging out at the bottom of the range. I didn't reload because of Bitcoin strength. I might reload this again. It's starting to look pretty decently up in those 20s. So we'll go for a fourth reload in Mara the next time through. The short has stayed good with this name. Softy looking fantastic, of course. Apple's starting to pull back. I didn't get this to dip by, so I'm going to let it make another bottom and then try to catch this one on the way back up. This is one of two names that I've been long today, Apple one, Alphabet the other. Both obviously good because those are the only things that have been strong. So you got to be patient. It's getting close, like 10:30 right now, so I think you want to keep things a little bit tighter to the vest. I'm still going, I know I've only had a couple of longs, but I am taking an 890 breakout on NVIDIA. This is a setup. If it doesn't work today, then it'll end up being going 3 for 4 for me on the last week, which is going into a double or triple top after making a wipeout bottom and then putting in higher lows. So I'm going to take that break.
Before we go to crypto.
On NVIDIA. If it breaks 890, though, it has to break.
Before we go to crypto, I just want to show everybody we are now out of AMD. We gave back, and I'll just tell you the honest truth, we gave back 5% of our net on this last push back up. So we talked about, trying to be very, very patient. There was a deal in our football pool. I don't know if you saw it. You might want to go look at that.
I did not.
And we'll discuss that deal when we get back from Adara at the big desk with crypto. Well, it was Jason.
We do have crypto. We also just really quickly here as well got those EIA natural gas stock changes. These coming in a bit lower than the consensus. -9 BCF versus the consensus of -3. Also, though, worth noting, we did get a ruling on that ongoing COPA trial. So COPA is the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, basically a group that is not for the patents with crypto. So they took Craig Wright, who's this computer scientist who's been claiming that he is a Satoshi, the creator of crypto, and that he also wrote the crypto or the Bitcoin white paper. Basically, this ruling has been decided that Craig Wright is not Satoshi and he did not write the Bitcoin white paper according to this court. So basically, this whole suit was to kind of make sure that he did not have any patents on crypto because the Crypto Open Patent Alliance did not want any patents on crypto. Long story short, the court has ruled that Craig Wright is not Satoshi, does not have any reason to claim that he is the creator of Bitcoin. So interesting update with regards to that. We also have Bitcoin here just above that 72,000 area. We did have that fall below. We still have not broken above 74,000 here, but we're holding it pretty well. Above 72 right now is BTC. Despite that move down in Bitcoin and Ethereum, with Ethereum actually down below that 4,000 level now, a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are pretty strong. Sean was mentioning Solana, which is up about 12% right now. Cardano's up about 3%. Dogecoin up about 8%. So a lot of these non-Ethereum and Bitcoin cryptocurrencies definitely worth watching out for. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
I just saw someone in the chat.
The deal that happened in our fantasy league, all I will say, this guy is not watching, but he should be ashamed of himself for what he did. He should really be ashamed of himself.
I should not have brought it up. Yeah.
So, like, your personal integrity has to matter more than winning a fantasy championship. That's all. I'm glued to NVIDIA, because it's close to the 890 break,
Amazon.
and I think that's the next thing that will happen. But, of course, a watched pot never boils.
Yes.
So like all breakout trades, the more you stare at it, the less likely it is to happen. I feel like it's Murphy's Law around here. Every single time I've done this in the last 3 days where I'm like, this is imminent, it's been a fantastic opportunity to go in the other direction off of that level. But I want to break out, so I got to wait for said breakout, which now it's started. Look at it pull back. It was just at 889.60, and it just pulled back 250. But I wanted a breakout trade, not the curl. Let me go over to something else, which is going to be Intel. That's still going higher. Do not want to mess with that. Oh, ARM. That's what I wanted to get to. ARM is bouncing off VWAP, but that 135 looks like it could be back into play. It just did a wick top off a lower high there. If I see another fail at 135, I might go back into it. We did end up ringing the register on Rivian back through $11, so we shorted it. We were just sitting in this one in the pre-market. The key on Rivian lately has been sitting in consolidation, sit in the consolidation and let it dump. And that's all you got to do. The day before, I sat in that consolidation, it didn't dump. We sat in the afternoon one, it did dump. We sat in this pre-market one, and it dumped even further. Shout out to you, Fisker, for probably dragging everybody lower. So NVIDIA, I'm not going to cancel the order unless it's underneath 885. I'll give it a chance to go back up and bounce. Mara, we're still hanging on to. Didn't get the reload, but that's tracking back down to said low of the day.
All right. We were just talking a little bit there about Google. I am going to try to take this out if we can get back into here. So I did offer right now 142.80, which is the high. I feel that's silly. I should be in there a little bit more. Let's go to like 142.75 or something like that. You know, at this, let's just go to 70. At this point, we'll just take it out at the high. Like if we can get out here, I mean, we took that nice long. We'll wait to see if that can happen or not. So we'll wait for that. That is Google bottom to top. Let's see if there's some value there in Google. SoundHound, that's Tesla, by the way. SoundHound kind of gone to sleep a little bit. We did have some pretty dramatic moves early, obviously, as we took that wick just as the market opened up. That was lucky because we were bidding $9. Then we had the $9 target. We were going to get out at 875 initially, but once we made the money on this stock, we didn't want to give it back on the last 20%. So we did hold a little more than usual on SoundHound there. So that was something. Tesla. Okay, so this actually, I was going to go over here and say it's not near VWAP, but it is kind of coming back
Amazon.
Upside. I know, someone in the chat said Amazon was starting to rip there. So what's up to Oscar there in the chat? I am, though, just so everyone's understanding what's happening, the NASDAQ is green now. So we put in the sticky note that we wanted short underneath 18.3. So now you could see I'm only long. We're long Palantir, 40 cents in the money, and we're long Google, $1.70. So I like the longs here, still starting to work. The market's starting to break higher. So we got to go over to some stronger names. So I just initially type in Apple. Wow, 173. We're nowhere near our 171 now. You could put that one in the pipe and just forget about, come on chart, and just forget about that one going through. But yeah, Amazon is really getting going, Neil, and I think this is probably the long, man. We might just want to buy this name down here now against 179, as it has that magnet of 180. The 52-week high is 180.14. So 180.14 with a magnet for Amazon. So I'd watch out for that, but we're just net long, and I'm just going to sort of rest up a little bit here and wait for some better opportunities. I do have an AMD idea, but again, I want to wait for 197. If we can get into 196, we'll start that party, but for right now, let's just sit back, relax for a second, and see if Amazon and AMD both want to do what we think they do want to do.
J Mott saying, are we adding anything to the long term today? Not really. It's not my regularly scheduled monthly buy of the Qs, which I just literally dollar cost average since the beginning of last year. I was a spiders guy, SPY person, and then last year I'm like, no, I'm dollar cost averaging the Qs. So that's what I've been buying. Individual names, I've been looking for pullbacks. So Amazon's one of the ones that just has given you nothing. Alphabet did. I got Alphabet off the 200 period moving average. I got Apple, but I mean Amazon, Microsoft, opportunities there hadn't been there. The Pan W we've already talked about. But you are very close to 180 on Amazon. I'm on the bid of Apple trying to catch a dip buy here, 173.5. But I want Amazon as well in the next available dip. Before we get to 180, I'd like to catch a dip buy on this particular name. If Fisker starts following the market, then I'd be surprised. If it's going to squeeze, it's going to squeeze because I don't know why people would buy it, but the reason other bankruptcy names squeeze. But it's not going to be because the market's flying. So short off of VWAP here. The low in the aftermarket was 15 cents, so I will get 2/3 of it out there in front of 15 and then try and hold the rest. I don't know about rinsing and repeating on Rivian, but I will let this glide back higher. VWAP sits at 1120, so I'm not completely convinced that that isn't some kind of a short back into VWAP as well, and then try and reload that bad boy. So next available dip in either Amazon or Apple, we're going to try and go back into the long for Apple and get the long for Amazon. Now I'm canceling my NVIDIA because that's clearly not going to break out. It's back underneath 885, so no need to have that. I don't want to have a stop to get into position if it's too far away from a breakout price. There's no need to have it. Here comes a pullback. We might pick up some Apple. Nothing's out of the stocks I wanted to reload short. Nothing's at the prices, so I'm not going to be hitting the short anywhere, it seems like. Adara?
Yeah, just an update here with regards to the Starship launch with SpaceX. SpaceX did have to cut the mission a bit short after they apparently lost communication with Starship, but they also did announce that Starlink has now over 2.6 million customers. So that's up from 2.3 million customers at the end of December 2023. So some updates there with regards to Starlink and SpaceX, guys.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of custies. All right, so nice little move to the upside for Amazon, but we're getting caught up. A shout out to Kyle Burdett there in the chat. He said that something is, he and I must have similar spidey senses here because I'm not really sure. I haven't been in a position in about 20 minutes or so, like new positions, and I'm starting one here on Amazon thinking that we want to take a long, but look at the market now trying to fall back in a little bit. We're long here at 12. We're going to get out at like a 90 break. So if we break below here, then we'll take about a 20-cent hit. You see, it just got to 12 again and stopped. It's having some problems. If the market can go up, then we know Amazon will win. It's just like Google. But I feel like we're in a spot right now where we got that PPI number hotter. Here it goes. There we're out. PPI number hotter than. So I'll have a fail on that because, again, we can't celebrate the wins and not talk about the failures. So we, again, look at the hits, though, that we're taking. I can't explain that enough. Like, our wins are dollars. Our hits are a couple dimes. And I feel like that's the way you want to trade at all times, no matter your style of trading, whether or not it's on SoundHound or on $200 names, right? So, or on crypto where you take $7 and it goes 20 yesterday on Coinbase. But okay, so still not over that. But so there you go. What I was getting at right now is I'm not sure about where we are on this level. We're come back in, now we're under VWAP, so now I'm thinking short again, right? So some of these things have to be flipped around. And when you're not sure what you need to do, the best thing to do is to relax and think about how the hell you're gonna buy a wife an R1T. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. So shout out to that. And we will do that. What do I think about starting a buy on BA for the long term? Yes. I'm just going to say that. I don't even know the price. But the thing about Boeing is, you said something there, Britt Grant. It used to be Brittany Grant, so I don't know what's up with that, but shout out to Britt. Wow, okay, Boeing's moving to the upside. Now remember, we are not financial advisors or anything like that. In my opinion, I think when a name goes down to the downside like this, and you're back into some decent levels like this of support, I think to start a position, this might be something down there. So if you're looking to start a position, I can't say I'd hate on Boeing. So I like monopolies. I like playing Monopoly. And in real life, this is pretty much that. So let's wait to see what, it's not like the game.
No, it's like an oligopoly. I explained this to...
Right, with Airbus, right?
Yeah, my wife and I we went out to dinner last night, and I was explaining what's happening to Boeing. She's like, how the hell do they stay? Like, why does anybody even go buy from them? Like, because they don't have a choice. That's basically it, because who else is there? That's all there is. Now the market's starting to come back in.
Yep.
That was the shortest offensive of all time in Apple, but I missed a curl on Intel. So that's me missing Intel pulling off of 43.25. Unfortunately, we did not get that short, but we are getting a chance, we are getting a chance to see Sector Watch with it there.
Not a lot of green sectors to speak of here, though we do have some strength in energy minerals here. XOM pretty strong. Also worth noting, about half the commercial services sector led by Visa and MasterCard seeing a bit of strength here as well. But generally, though, lots of downside. Finance, health technology, consumer services, consumer durables, utilities, transportation, communications, all very much to the downside. Retail trade pretty weak, but Amazon pretty strong here. Worth noting as well, Amazon announced they're going to be having their first sale that is open not just to Amazon customers, so other people can partake in this spring sale as well. Nice look for AMZN. Technology sector is a little bit more mixed. Apple seeing a little bit of upside here on that Foxconn story with those higher than expected projections, but also NVIDIA pretty weak here. Some negative talk from Ming-Chi Kuo, a noted analyst, saying that there's a bit lower shipments than expected, so some weakness here for NVIDIA and some of these other chips. Microsoft and Google, though, pretty strong in the tech services side, guys.
All right. Yeah, Google. I really like that watch list, by the way, that heat map. I feel like that's something when you're looking for relative strength and weakness, and you're looking for names to possibly trade. That's a great resource.
It's a great.
But much better than I'd given it credit for in the past. So.
Actually, I have a. I'm gonna just make. I have no idea whether we can do this or not, but it would be pretty cool if we could have that flash on the More Trader TV. Maybe like sometimes we can get that one up.
I think Trade Ideas has something.
I know Trade Ideas has one, so I don't know if we can get that up at some point. I just want to quickly go over two things when we come back. Apple, remember I said that was the shortest offensive? I said I wasn't going to catch a falling knife on those dips and then proceeded to have a bid when the market drops.
Hype.
Like, well, I didn't want to do that, so just immediately get out. Like the plan of action was to wait for it to look stronger on a bounce like it is. Like it's trying to bounce now. Like I want to see some green and then try and go long. Even then I got in too early. So let's be a little bit more patient. It's not VWAP or anything. And then we did get a fill on Fisker there, 16. It's bouncing back in. It did not get to 17. If it breaks 17, I get out. If they hold 17, we reload it.
I'm probably long like $20.
Like this stock, I mean, it's down 50%, but you know they're going potentially bankrupt. But I love
Dude,
that.
the amount of money I have in all the big.
I love that. I mean, I love that heat map. I think it's a good resource. ARM. Fail break did just happen, so I am looking. Here we go. It's like the spread on ARM is kind of like silly. It's not the most liquid stock in the world. It's like a 40-cent spread, so I might just sit at the evens. If you short this 35, I understand that your stop can't really be the evens. It doesn't even make any sense. It's got to be somewhere in the 40s or 50s and give it a little bit of room, but you got to be able to get hit on the offer because I don't want to take the bid. The bid is at 45, and I'm trying to offer at 90. In front of 135 even. So hitting the bid, you get a little bit too much slippage. Haven't looked at Boeing myself individually today, and that's because it's strong when I am favoring the short. So I like shorting Boeing the last couple of days, and so if you have a bias and the stock is doing something else, then don't trade it. So I'm not really trading Boeing today. You know, I didn't sniff out that long. Maybe a short at 186, 187 if it can get there. That's a key level. If it can get up there, yeah, 186, 187. So another couple of dollars and it gets in a bit of a zone. Just got Intel to the south side, but that also means I should be trying to get back into Apple if the market is going to be bouncing. That's looking a little bit stronger for Apple now. Maybe a break back through 40.
All right. By the way, revenge is a dish best served cold. Thank you, Amazon, for that dip buy. So we knew we liked Amazon long. Unfortunately, we stepped up at the wrong time. So look at that dip buy right there. Hit the sirens for that dip buy in Amazon. Now in the money. Remember what we said? We'll take small hits, but try to take bigger winners. So now we're in the money 50 cents on that one right now. Sorry, I was just messaging somebody. And that's good to go. So we will do that and get back to our business now. Okay. All right. So Amazon does make that move up. We taken out at 75. We are long right there at 42. So it's only 30 cents. We did lose 20 cents there. We did talk about that. But again, we need this to get back to the upside before we punch that long through that 179.20. I still like the long. That was a good dip buy opportunity. What else do you guys want to talk about? Oh yeah, why don't we discuss this? I'm still with some of you guys on the chat right now and not really super interested in what this market's doing right now. So we're bouncing off the 50 period, trying to hold it. I do prefer the longs at this point because we're trying to bounce off these levels, but we're under VWAP. So if we get a bounce up, into these kind of levels, and we'll talk about where we'd like to go short on some names. And whoopsies, I almost gave away the menu there without telling everybody what it was. All right, if you do like chicken dinner winners, well then guess what? You're gonna have one right now today, and it's a good one, Neil. You're gonna like this, I feel like, because you did miss Taco Tuesday about 2 years ago when I asked for it.
That wasn't 2 years ago. It was probably like last year.
Was it last year? I remember it was funny because I don't think you were planning on taking the day off, but something happened and you didn't. Probably something with your daughter or whatever, and then you weren't in that day.
I was randomly not in.
Yeah, and then we were like so excited to finally have Taco Tuesday, and Neil missed it. But today, let's go with Fajita Thursday.
I mean, yeah, fajitas are great. I mean, I don't know if we can Fajita Thursday.
I wish it was a Friday.
Doesn't
make I have to think of something else. You know, midweek Thursday. Someone in the chat is more creative than this. It's with peppers. I know, but it's not tacos. I get it. She's like, Ramin's like, oh, Taco Thursday
doesn't
works,
work
but then I have
Thursday.
to lie.
Taco Tuesday. TH does a
fajito. So this. Okay.
Taco Tuesday.
See what I've done here?
Taco Thursday.
All right, let's bring this back. All right, so we got chicken, it's fajita style, chicken with peppers, Mexican rice, and of course tortillas, it says. So that's nice. And then we have tomorrow's, but we're not going to give that to you yet. We'll wait for tomorrow for that one. So a little bit of what's for lunch right there, and it's fajitas.
Oh, I like fajitas.
Yeah, me too. There goes Amazon. Nicely done here to the upside. Amazon now 50 cents in the money, going back up. I am getting close. I've canceled. Actually, I have not canceled my AMD shorts. So we're still waiting up here we said we'd be patient for this one. We'll wait for a 196 change to come in on that one. We have 10% left of Palantir and 20% left of Google. So Google's the one that I have my eye on. Man, we really thought that market was going to go there, right? So we waited for that. I feel like we should still wait for that. This is a really good reload spot right now, but I'm not convinced about the market. If I was, I'd be reloading this one. Let's wait for VWAP down here at 140, 150. We shouldn't have let this one get away. We should have got out when we saw this barcode up there. So that's a missed opportunity for me, although today's going to be a very, very big day. We will end probably at our highest spot this month at this time. We'll see if we can add a little. Well, no, we had that NVDA trade. I don't know if that was in the afternoon. Anyways, good morning so far. Started with SoundHound and Tesla. Wow, Tesla's still at the bottom. That was the missed trade right there on Tesla 168 with a reload back there to VWAP. So that was about 1018. So let's just stay tuned for all these kind of trades. If they hit, they hit. Oh yeah, I got my Marissa, my wife there, she's at hockey right now, but I got Neil showed this. I don't know if I showed it on the screen. She dropped her iPad and of course the screen broke. Okay, so then I went and got her another iPad, but the problem is it didn't have, and it only had 32 gigabytes of RAM. Hers has 128. So
oh no,
that doesn't even run, it doesn't even really run Roblox, her 30 to 32 gigabyte one. So needless to say, we got rid of that. One, I gave that one back, got the screen fixed, and I didn't realize it was only $100 to fix the screen. So for me, that was well worth it. But the reason why I tell this story is, I got a note this morning, Gia dropped her iPad on the ground,
she can have
and we don't have a case for it because it was a different model, the one I upgraded, so they got a new case. Anyway, needless to say, everything is fine with it as we wait for Amazon, which is, we're long Amazon, to deliver the new case. I told her, go to Wally's World, man, or go to one of those mobile clinics and get one. So anyways, story to be continued after we won't.
Isn't Wally's World the name of the place in National Lampoon?
Yeah. But it's Sam Walton for Walmart, right?
So no, I know. Yeah. Just great movie. But a couple of things happened. One, we got Intel short. ARM also came in. We shorted in front of 134. We'll take some out of VWAP. Remember what I've been saying about ARM? I might like shorts on ARM, but since that IPO lockup, it is in an upward trend. So I'm not shorting it to that top. I'm giving it to the lower high, local high, which is like 135.25. We reloaded Intel on that last little drop. It got right to the pre-market, the close price of 43.23 on Intel. Took the L in the first short, we shorted the lower high, and we're taking some out on the way to the low of the day. Oh, and Apple. The other thing we got was an Apple. So we got an early there, which is stupid, and then we waited, let it make a wick, and then let it hold higher. So that's a little bit more patient of an entry, like let it make a bottom, show strength, then go long. Holding for the high of the day break here, and I should try and take some ARM out of VWAP. It is already 10:52, so let's check out on that USD. with
this.
Adara, Money Talks.
DXY making a really nice move up. We're basically at high of days here for the US dollar on this DXY. If you look at it too, very interesting. We did bounce off this area of support here, that 102.75 area that we also saw coming in as support and then later resistance. So interesting level here. The DXY seems to be respecting. Also, we have a lot of economic data to discuss. Core retail sales here coming a little bit lower than expected, 0.3% versus 0.5% for February. But other than that, a lot of this data coming in higher. We did have a PPI month over month for February, 0.6% versus 0.3%, so much higher than expected, and seemingly what's giving the USD a nice boost up here. Core PPI for February year over year also coming higher than expected, 2% versus 1.9% expected. We also did get business inventories month over month, basically flat. So a couple pieces of data coming out today, certainly making an impact on the DXY. And we don't really have much economic data coming out tomorrow, but next week we have the Fed meeting, the FOMC meeting, so definitely stay tuned for that. Should be moving this market and this economy, guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you, Miss Adara. And by the way, how good is Adara getting over there at the desk? So we'll props up for that one. Don't come after our jobs, Adara. All right, so here we go. Thank you, Adara, for that great work again. All right, sound the alarm one more time because
I'll sell anything for enough fritters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could sit here for 2 fritters. Neil said.
I just said I will sell anything except for my daughter and wife for enough apple fritters.
Yeah. Let's not.
I got a Barry Bonds rookie card. You give me a lifetime supply of apple fritters, and I'd probably trade it in.
We'll pass on human trafficking here.
I'm joking.
Obviously,
I'm joking.
All right.
Really,
yeah, are you though? No. All right. So here we go. Tesla. We took the long off 165. Thanks, you guys in the chat. We're saying Tesla's at day's low. I don't know if that's to make me feel. Nah. We already took that out right there at 168. But here we go again. We're gonna play it off of 165. We've talked about how low Tesla's getting. I'm not gonna open up a chart and show you the daily levels because that has nothing to do with the trade that we're in right now. This could completely fall apart. What we're talking about here is a possible bounce back in the market. So maybe at some point Tesla gets strong again. This is a shot in the dark. It's 10:54 right now. We're going to try Tesla. We're up on it. We're playing with house money, but that could go away. We're going to take another bid down here at 165. I put 30. Let's go a little bit tighter to the level than that because this market, and I'm still not going to forget what Neil said, we don't necessarily need to be bidding when these things are happening, but we're going to try down here at 165.20 for one more, and then guess what? If we lose this bottom, then we're gone, and we don't have to worry about this trade. So that's what we're doing right now. Palantir's coming back in. Google's actually holding 142. I may put an order up here in and around 50 just in case we get going on that one. Amazon, guess what? We took that one back in. Bang, right there for Amazon. My bad getting out when it broke lower, but we always talk about this. Take the trade again. If you like the trade, let it fade and take it again. So there it is right now. Good reload back down there. Not even a reload. We got out, put the trade back on. It's 179.50 right there for Amazon. Now $1 in the money on a trade that we were initially losing on. Here comes Tesla right back into 20. I'm going to buy a little bit here in the 30s in case we don't get it, but we are bidding 22s. Looks like we'll get that with our stop just below 165. Tesla, my newest trade, long.
Tesla for the long.
I don't know for the win, though. I don't
know. I mean, the market's trying to hold a higher low here. But, so I think what we're getting at with that whole, you don't have to necessarily sit on the bid when the market's coming down is you pick your spots for, dip buys and breaks. And sometimes it's just a little bit easier. If the market is really, really weak into your price or into the area you want to get in, then let it bounce first. If the market was strong, then you just sit on the bid where I want to get in on Apple. And I punched in and out for a 3-cent hit right there to get back into Apple. Now Apple can't seem to hold the high. My stop is tight here to 173.30, I think. I'm risking 15 pennies on that because it cannot break this high. 174 is resistance. ARM is pulling back into VWAP. Intel's working. I was being yelled at to reload Mara short, and I've been offering in front of VWAP here, and Mara's not getting to VWAP. Which, if you're really staring at the stock, it's easier to see what's kind of going on here, where very gently it's making lower highs by about 5 or 6 cents over the last half an hour into the same bottom. So this could still continue to flush the downside. But Mara has been That's actually not the one to hit. Because you hit that one when crypto's going up, not when it's going down. Mars has been a bit of a flush. Those ones are next to each other on my thing, so I just hit the wrong one. That's continuing to head to the downside. It's working. Fisker is back. Fisker has a seller at 17 even, but these last couple of times, you didn't really get the fill. You got to sit on the right gateway at the right price. I'm going to get to like 1692 here on Fisker and see if I can't reload it at that 17 and then try and take that 1 cent, then the 2 cents down to 15 if we can get that, as they are possibly going bankrupt at some point. We have no idea if and when it's going to happen. Apple, with the market coming back in, I do have to watch out for this.
Yep.
If it reloads, then I want it bouncing off of that 30. If it bounces again, I'll go into the long. ARM did dip in and tag me there. Actually went all the way to VWAP, and I got 22s. But it's coming right back up. So ARM's a little bit strong. I don't think this is worth the reload. It's looking a little bit too strong to the upside. Holding on to VWAP means I should not be forcing the action there. Rivian, we haven't had a chance to get back into it, and Rivian's right back at the low of the day. So the first position of the day, and it's going to be tricky to find a way back into this. I guess the first available short was at $11, exactly where I got out. So your first chance to get back in on a green candle was the one that wicked me out of Rivian there, as the EV names continue to go flush city, at least the ones that don't make money.
Yeah, well,
which is actually all of them except for Tesla.
I mean, I have one that's making money right here. Tesla, that's going boom to the downside.
BYD makes
well, BYD as well, yeah. So, all right, here we go, man. Tesla, nice downside push into 165. We're long right here at 40. So it's a flat trade right now. We could get this out, but we're not going to do that. We want to see a little bit of a higher push right now. So now we have a good price, man. We're in at 40s. If we lose 70 cents here, so be it, honestly. We don't want to, but I feel like this is a decent spot here for Tesla. I hate playing against the trend for sure. And like I said, we're going to be at a nice spot for us here. It's just we've got a little cocky because we should have got out of, well, I don't know. It's always easy to say I should have done something, but like we looked at Amazon when it was ripping up here. I like the story. It took out 52-week highs today, I believe. I said, wasn't it at no, it was at 180, right? Yeah, 180.14, sorry. So we did not get to 52-week highs. We were waiting for 52-week highs. That didn't come in yet. All right, we are getting a nice bump up for Google. I'm thinking 142. I'm already here on Google. If we get into the 70s, we're taking that out. We talked about that one. Amazon back upside, we'll wait. And then it's this guy. It's just Tesla for me now. So Amazon, we have our targets. We have our targets for Google. And honestly, for Tesla, now back into the money, I do have an offer at 70. So if we can get back up sort of into this area, we're long at 30s. Where are we long again? 40s. So we'll take 30 cents right into this area just because it looks like a shelf. And then if it comes back up, then you know, obviously 166 would be great, and then we'll go from there. So let's wait to see what happens with Tesla. I get the feeling like it's going to break, but this is worth a shot. And when you get this feeling, you don't need to be in it, so you got to get out. This goes right back into what our show is about coming up. Trading psychology during volatile markets. Ooh. Tesla right now is pretty volatile, and it's messing with my psychology. So I'm going to pay attention to this lesson right now. But Google's $1.50 in the money. Palantir's 23 cents in the money. Amazon's now 75 cents in the money. So we got 99 problems. The only one is Tesla. All right, so we'll wait for this. Let's see if Amazon can go. We'll cancel
Apple 174.
Ooh, we love Apple 174. But look at this. I'm not even going to get out of Tesla, of Amazon anymore. Let's see if we can rip it up. So any last comments here? Because
just Apple's at 174. Remember, that was a big brick wall 2 days ago in the afternoon that it couldn't break through. It got to 01s and then pull right back in. If it breaks, it just broke now. It's running. We're going to stick to the long on Apple now that it's through resistance. It is time to go to the professor and Adara. There's Apple busting through. We're going to hold on to that one.
Like that.
We'll be back at 2 o'clock. But for now, go get your learn on. Learn to trade.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to